I don't know. Isn't that funny? Now he did. You guys don't know the drama yesterday. His rental car died.
Oh no.
So we were out there, and Alan got his car out and his cables, and we were trying to jump it, but it wasn't working. And we called AAA, and they came.
Oh my God! Who did you rent it from?
I don't know, like National or something like that.
Because usually you could call them.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't going to respond quick enough, so just AAA. They came in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
AAA is really great. How did they get it going?
They had a bigger battery charger thing, you know what I mean? They had the equipment, so they had, yeah, exactly, that has way more charge than just from your engine. So anyway, it was fun. So I don't know if his car had any problems.
Wow.
Let me see if he texted me.
I was actually thinking about that because I'm so far over there in the middle of nowhere if I were to get stuck.
Yeah.
So you want it just using my iPad, Alan?
Say again?
Are you using my iPad?
Yes.
Okay.
It's working fine.
Okay. See if I can actually get this to come on together. I'm not really happy with the new iPhone, or the iOS, the new iOS.
Neither am I.
God, it's awful. It's slow.
Should I not upgrade? What is it?
But I have a 6, and it's already like funky.
7.
That should be better. That should be fine. They do planned obsolescence. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the older chips don't quite go with the new operating system. You're probably going to be better than me, but
Still, it's annoying.
it is so annoying.
Especially since they don't effectively recycle and reuse anything. They're
Right.
driving this waste.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's really toxic. Both in the getting the materials out to make it in the first place and then what you do after.
Yeah.
Double.
At least what they're doing is now a little bit is that as you want to upgrade, you turn in your phone. Do you know what I mean? That's the new upgrade system. You don't sell it on your own. Like you get your $200 because what they do is they resell that into the developing world. Those use, yeah. So at least there's a little bit of recycling going. Aaron, do you want to just guide us in another presencing and grounding process? Get us going for the morning.
For sure. All right, so position yourself in a place of awareness and alignment. And just for a moment, sink into your body and ask your body, what would feel even better? And notice your body's response. And then invite the breath to lengthen and deepen and soften. Notice the shield of tensions in your body. And notice that you have an opportunity to back off of those tensions just a little bit. And identify that you and your tensions are not the same. Anchoring and grounding through the feet, through the sits bones, and through a grounding cord that you send down deep through the layers of building construction of the home, earth layers, into the very center of the earth, wrapping around the core. And allowing earth energy to rise up, feeding all aspects, all bodies, opening the crown of the head, and allowing the golden white light to begin to feed all the bodies, bringing the polarity bringing yourself completely present, completely alive, crackling aliveness. And when you're ready, slowly and softly allow your eyes to open.
Thank you, Erin. Beautiful. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to Sunday. Great day yesterday. Thank you for all your work and your insights and support of each other. Today we've got a great agenda today, a little more nuts and bolts, and also Jonathan Bender coming. Really excited about that because he's going to do some interactive stuff with us and have us take a look at our speaking styles and our speaking energy and how to be better speakers. So today, just a quick overview before, and we'll do a very quick check-in as well. But today we'll start with a check-in. Then we're going to go into the nuts and bolts of launch planning, which we're mostly going to do with the dashboard. So you may have it on your laptop, which is fine too. But I'm going to bring my monitor here, and just so you can follow along and kind of really get invested and curious in that as a tool. It's really the master tool for your launch. And as James said, there's a lot there, but a lot that you're not going to use every day, in there. So we'll do that. That's a lot of the planning. I'm going to encourage you to think about some dates and all that for your launch, just to kind of put that stake in the ground. Probably spring or late spring. Then we'll have a break. Then Jonathan will come and he'll spend about 90 minutes with us right up until lunch. Go to lunch, and then in the afternoon we're going to do what I call the Course in Marketing Technology Lab. So we're going to really take a look at even asking you, what are you guys thinking of using or planning to use, but we're going to go back in and look at what are the technologies we need. So now you've got your plan. So it's really the three things: all the creative, distilling into pages, then the plan for the launch, right? And then the actual technology. So that's what we're trying to put all, you've been hearing about it for 6 months, but we're going to try to keep putting it together so it's like, oh, okay, got it, this is what I need to do. And that's it, and that's the day. We'll have a checkout process, and at least for us here, we're going to have one more call because so many people couldn't make it. Our final call is Thursday. So we'll do a little bit of a gratitude, but I think I'll make that call the real official checkout call for the end of the course. And that'll it. And we should end at 4:30 today. Get out a little early. So that's the day. Any questions about the day? Great.
I need to write this note to myself. I have to say, I'm forgetting calls I schedule with people for these things. So
Right.
I go home and figure out where I put that. I just want to circle back for just a minute. I tried to take a stab at my copy for the webinar
Mm-hmm.
after griping about it with my husband for about a half hour. But I'm done griping
Is that
about
helpful,
this.
by the
I-
way?
Yeah.
It was,
Did it work?
because I came in and I sat down and I took the next step, so yes. it
You
was
did the
very
dump, yeah, good.
Yeah. Well, he tried to help me figure out what the issue is.
Yeah, yeah,
And he sees everything from very different perspectives, so it was very helpful. Anyway,
okay.
you said something yesterday about, you were talking about it's only 250 to 300 words, and you said something about the promised desired future state, seeing it differently than, I can't remember what you said. Something about combining them?
Just
or-
truncate, just shorter than what you do on your sales page.
And so they're kind of, but are they put together in kind of the same
Yeah.
sentence?
Aspiration, you start with your headline and then you're literally in the copy for your webinar page. It's still, you desire to feel more free and alive in your life, and then the problem, and then the diagnosis, solution, and then the last part I was saying is just the transformation in general. You don't have to do promise and desired future state, just what's possible for you at the end of this, the learnings from this webinar. And maybe what would be helpful, we went through a few of the pages very quickly in the last retreat. I don't know if it would be helpful to pull up some webinar pages again. Would that be helpful for you guys to see that? Or have you already gone and looked at, because that's what I always do, is I look for examples that I like. And then that might help you see what I mean by, oh, okay, that's only like 300 words.
Those are all in the videos, though, right?
They are, yeah. I mean, a lot of stuff is there, but would that help you to see it?
No, I've kind of been through that phase, and
Okay.
it helped to the extent that it helped, but then it gets to a point where it just starts confusing my dyslexia, and I have to just leave
Just
it.
folk it
But-
down,
But
yeah.
you said something very specific to James, and I didn't write it down, and then I got there last night and went, crap, Chris said something about this, and I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, just aspiration, problem, a little bit of diagnosis. For the webinar, it doesn't even have to be that strong because you're not delivering a lot. It's 75 minutes. But then the solution, which is your 3 points, and then the end, which is 1 or 2 sentences, is just the desired future state, period. Don't worry about promise. Don't worry about just what is possible for you coming out of the webinar.
Okay, so here's
That's
my-
it. That's what I said to James, yeah.
Okay, so here's my diagnosis. Your culture neglected to tell you that you have an energy body, just like your physical body needs daily attention to hygiene
Perfect.
and nourishment.
That's great. Yeah, making the case. Yeah, that
Not
we're
your
not
fault.
taught. Yeah,
Nobody
it's
told you, you
right.
gotta actually pay attention to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. You're not learning. Yeah, nobody told you. Nobody
Nobody
learned.
told you had one.
Even more directly, nobody really teaches you. I think the better diagnosis is nobody really has shown you or taught you, not just told you about it, but nobody's really given you instruction of how to work with the energy body. So you could say it as that direct and simple, and that relates to you as teacher. Then I am here to help you dive into your energy body, as others are out there. So that's it. That is a diagnosis. It's always it's never shame, blame. It's always something to do with our culture or some way that we're unconscious in the default life. I know, it's so insidious.
I think, or you're taught that there are weird people out there who think
Yeah,
like that.
exactly,
You know,
it's
like
too-
a different,
Right, you- or
different.
that
You're
it's
shamed by it.
unsubstantial.
Yeah.
Just because you can't see it means it's unsubstantial.
Yeah.
Right, and so
Yeah,
Weird
like
people.
radiation. That's my,
Right.
that's my
Sure.
argument around
Right,
it now.
right.
Like, yeah,
Sure.
exactly like radiation. You
Yeah.
can't see it and it's killing you right now. So
But-
can we
Right.
stop this conversation?
Yeah.
And move on?
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And
You know,
smoking.
That's not magical thinking.
How about in the 20s, smoking was good for you?
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
Like this, it makes you alive and feels better. And anyway,
Yeah.
so
It calms you down.
it comes.
Keeps you from gaining weight.
Great.
So all the stories that we begin to poke at, and so we're ultimately, all of us at some level are challenging the cultural story that we live in. That is evolving and changing, and we're the kind of mechanics in the system. So you would see a lot of good diagnosis come back to the cultural stories that we live in, and how do we burst that? Or what we're taught, right? The 3 R's is still kind of what we're taught in schools.
Which is weird because 3 R's are reading, writing,
And-
starts with a W.
And arithmetic with it, just no A.
Starts with an A.
Isn't that great? I know. I know. That's so great. It's perfect. Change the school.
Right. I don't think I ever actually put
Thought about that. I know, because it was the Sal reading, writing, and arithmetic. It's like from Alabama. I reckon. That's right. The 4 R's. I reckon. So,
Wow.
so thanks. Does that help and answer it? Yeah. So yeah, keep it. You can. My sense is, as you get clear on the title and the subtitle that you feel good about, you can, just let it flow out of you, So
I
it
just
doesn't.
accept that I'm never going to be happy with the title, subtitle, and headline of this webinar.
Exactly.
I am taking what we got at the end of
Yes.
yesterday, and I'm moving forward, and I am
Excellent.
not looking back.
Perfect.
Okay.
Great. I love
That's
it.
why you sneak in.
Yay! I know you're lying.
I see
Here
your
you were.
cake. Damn.
Hear her roar.
Yes.
We're gonna give you a steak.
Sweet. So thanks for that question. Let's do a quick check-in, just how you're doing this morning and anything that's up for you or anything you want particularly from today. I know we had the big intention yesterday, but anything particular from today. So whoever wants to start.
No, I'll just finish. I'm really proud of myself. I said I have to get through this. I gotta use my practices, do my work. I gotta get over myself around this. And then I sat down and I was tired. It was the end of the day. It was
Yeah.
one day yesterday, and I
Yeah.
still sat down. I even almost finished it, but then I got to that question. I was like, it's like almost 9 o'clock. I have to get here, and I don't remember what this said. But I watched a movie last night, the Suffragette movie, which is about British women getting the right to vote, which
Yeah.
we actually got here before they did.
Yes.
I didn't actually know that.
I didn't
By
know
6
that.
years.
1920 versus
In the
26.
1900s,
Yeah.
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 you know,
Mhm.
but it
Long
certainly
ago.
put things into perspective,
Yeah.
right? You know,
Yeah.
Well, Britain, there was women weren't allowed to own property for a longer time.
I mean, the movie's horrific.
Yeah.
It's absolutely horrific.
Yeah, they torture
And
them.
it just went, okay, life is not so bad.
Right, I can get through this.
Get yourself together and move along, right? You know, you're part of a long history.
Right.
Move it along. Stop whining. What in the world do you have to whine about?
That's
Yeah.
good.
I know.
Good for you. Thank you. Well, welcome all of you this morning. You sound on fire, and that's great. Thank you.
I know.
All right, Lion.
I was exhausted last night and I watched a movie with my sweetie and went to bed. Yeah, I just found, this morning I found out that another friend of mine lost everything in the fires, and so,
Mm.
you know, and I know that there's thousands of stories
Yeah.
like that, right, so, still pretty impacted by it.
Yeah.
I feel like, I know a lot of the mechanics that we're gonna talk about today, so I might absent myself or distract myself while you're doing some of that work.
Mhm.
But I'm looking forward to the days.
Great.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. Great. Lion. Thank you. Yeah, Aaron.
Well, I'm smack dab in the middle of my wounding and celebrating.
Don't celebrate.
A little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit, we're on the edges. So, yeah.
Mm.
So whatever I take from today, it's good.
Great.
Yeah, I just, I'm in a place of, like, a lot of inner kind of movement, kind of shuffling. And so it feels really good just to be exceedingly gentle with
Mhm.
myself. Just being as present and gentle as I can and not having massive expectations and knowing that it's going to shift.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Mm.
And looking at the schedule, since lunch is at 12:30, I might actually leave then, depending on, because I was going to leave at 2, but that doesn't really necessarily make
Mhm.
a lot of
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Right.
We'll see. Anyway, I'm happy to be here this morning with you all. And I feel like, I just want to speak to it being like we're rounding this final chapter, and I just want to speak to how grateful I am.
Mm.
And also, specifically grateful of all the work that you put in. I have not been able to access actually using it, but the master dashboard is a pretty impressive tool.
Mhm.
So I just want to, say, whoa, on that, because
Thank you.
that's not something my brain wraps around at all. And yet, potentially, I might be able to use it.
Or get somebody to help you.
Or get somebody to help
Your
me.
program
Exactly,
manager. Yeah. Thank
exactly.
you.
And just how wonderful it's been to be with all of you. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
And being in this process, and if my support or genius is helpful moving forward, I'm happy to contribute. So
Great. Thank you, Aaron. Good. I'll go, and then we can finish with you.
Um,
Oh, you go. Okay.
Me, oh, you want
No, go. You go. I'll finish. I'll wrap
I'm
up.
like, I'm getting ready and not listening to what you were saying. Like, you always go.
No, I know. Right. It was going to be just one of the circle, but
Yeah.
you go, and I'll finish.
Just feeling I guess, thoughtful. Next steps, you know, what's gonna happen, that it will happen, you know, knowing that it's there, and I'm still going through the process. And knowing I still have a lot of work to do. I guess that's what I'm feeling, but feeling okay with it too. Being okay with it. I'm looking forward to what we're doing today. I do think the master dashboard is incredible. I mean, that is something that I would have been able to eventually put together, that would have taken me forever, and it's already there, and I will totally use that.
Great.
I mean, I can see myself using that. So feeling good. I did watch the Cubs and they didn't win.
I know. Ouch. Darn.
But, you know, there's 7 games. Best of 7. So.
Is it 3-3 now?
No,
It's 1-0.
1-0.
It's a new series.
Time, there's time.
Yeah, so, hey, we've come back and won 4 in a row, so, yeah. And I'm sure they were worn out, so it's all right. It always feels good when they win, but we'll see.
It's good to have a down day.
Yeah, and well, we're still on a high from last year, so even if they made it this far, we're still feeling all right.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, April. Yeah. Welcome. So I am. I'm feeling a really interesting mix. I'm feeling a lot of gratitude, grateful for all of you and for this space and the creativity that's flowing. Feeling impacted by what's happening north. I can feel it in my body.
Yeah.
And I know there's so much suffering in the world, but there's something in the field when it's closer. Like I can feel it, and I have several friends that's lost everything. And even Jonathan is coming from Santa Rosa. I don't know if you know that. He's evacuated, so he's still going to be here. His home is fine, I think. But so I'm just feeling that it's really in the field, and sometimes it's odd to then go into this work, so I just want to presence that. It's like that's happening there, and hey, let's do this, and let's look at the dashboard. So I know we have our work to do, and there's not much we can do to help there right now. So I'm just feeling that tension, and just excited I feel excited about what each of you. I know we're like in the weeds together, but boy, the offerings that you have, the work with the body, and the work with coaches, and the work with people in their energy bodies, and changing schools. I mean, what I'm excited about is to see the arc of where you guys are in 5 years or 6 years, and changing schools, and have a global audience of people. And so anyway, it's just exciting and rewarding for me to be here at the beginning of some things. I really saw Shakti Milan blossom, and then pass away in July. And, it's beautiful. So I'm happy for all of you, and just keep bringing your gifts out in the world, and don't get in the weeds, wrapped in the weeds too much. Just do it and bring it and trust it. And I trust you guys. So I have magic to bring. So thank you. Happy to be here. Woo! Okay.
Thanks for doing that, for bringing that,
Yeah.
the emotionality of it.
Yeah, I can feel it. And so, and I like range, so I'm just kind of flow with that, and let's move into some practical stuff for you
Can I
guys.
just speak to one more thing?
Sure, please.
That I'm really grateful for is I think, especially if you have to work really hard to get anyone to listen about your work, right? Because it's against whatever the dominant systems are. It's really, the contrast to be in a group of people where you can see your work in reflection to other people's work, similar and different, is a really rare opportunity. And for me, the subtle power of that's been coming through over 6 months is really something I'm really grateful. I mean, the mechanics of it all I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
Right? But that piece of the ability to see what I'm doing reflected by a group of peers is, and not peers in shamanism, but peers in the world.
Yes.
And it's like you're talking about these people that are making a difference in the world.
Right.
It's a rare situation.
It is.
And to be in it for 6 months.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah,
on the West Coast,
it's not
to
like
be
a
in that
cocktail party of interesting people and
fertility.
we're having a nice night. This is like, it's ongoing, and
Yeah.
that has been really valuable.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
allowed me to see things I actually wouldn't have seen as I said yesterday, if you guys who had similar processes weren't also here, if it had just been all different and I was unique in that group, I still wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah, right.
And it was seeing the people that are doing similar things
Yeah.
that, I don't, and that's really rare in my life,
Mm-hmm.
really, really rare.
Yeah.
Transformational leaders,
Mhm.
that's what I think. I think anytime I get with transformational leaders, it's just, it's like, you get more okay with yourself
Yeah.
for some reason.
The validation that you're
There's a
not crazy.
validation that's there, and that's like, oh, God, thank God, it's not just
Yeah.
me in this world navigating it by myself. There's other people that are like-minded, that are going out of the boundaries and really thinking and creatively.
Yeah, and to share wisdom with each
Mhm.
other and to collaborate and
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it's lonely, right? You begin to build your
Yeah.
workout in a way that's like you're so busy and engaged that all of a sudden there isn't the time or space to really get feedback from colleagues, from peers.
And
you
you're
know?
on an edge, like all of us are on an edge.
Mhm.
Nobody's doing this.
Mhm.
Right.
You know, not really, not
Yeah.
exactly.
Or small percentage of
Yeah.
people, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to bring in the other extreme, which for me is jealousy of others who have built big audiences and they get featured on teleseminars, and I feel like I've been scrabbling up the hill, you know, rock by rock,
Right.
while these other people are flying.
Yeah.
And so when I really reflect on it, I recognize, okay, well, they had a 20-year head start on me, or they've got one single focus and I've got 12 focuses.
That's right, right.
And so, but I just want to acknowledge that I feel jealous of those people that are
Mm-hmm.
ahead of me. As you know, I know there's people that look at me and wish that they were like me. So,
Yeah,
so there's always that.
The continuum.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
compare ourselves to those who are ahead of us. We rarely compare ourselves to those who are behind us. And that's just the comparing mind.
Yeah, that noise you hear on kind of this side of that hill, that's me scrabbling.
That's probably up, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and to some degree, you know, all of us, I can imagine those that are even way beyond us are scrabbling to get on Oprah. Do you know what I mean? That kind of, there's a, depending on how you hold it in your own field, is what's the scrabble up the next hill, or not, or let it go. You know, so thank you.
Part of that is this idea of self-promotion. I had a girlfriend who was a very big person who's been on Oprah twice, and and she said, you know, you have to basically do relentless self-promotion.
Right.
And I went,
Ooh, right.
yuck. And then more recently I heard that Tony Robbins was interviewed, and someone said, what's your day like? He says, well, I wake up in the morning and I think, how can I promote myself?
Did he say that? Right. Wow, Tony Robbins.
That's why he is who he is, because
Right.
the first thought in the morning is, how can I promote myself?
Yeah.
So there's this balance between being authentic and, this sort of distaste of self-promotion, and yet also the requirement. We're in an attention economy, and so you're trying to, grab attention, get people's eyeballs on you and your work, and that's in fact what brings you the prosperity and the meaning and the power that you have to be in the world and to make a contribution. So it's a really interesting dichotomy that we just all have to face, because I find self-promotion somewhat distasteful, and yet I do it a lot.
Yeah.
Because I know that is the way I can deliver my value.
Your message. Yeah, the message.
It's a
Yeah.
tricky line, because then you don't want to get down that rabbit hole of thinking you're actually more than you are, or more than spirit allowed you to be, or whatever.
And I've been in this field quite a while now, that I find that one of the most powerful ways of that authentic marketing and authentic promotion is building those collaborative relationships. And I know you know it, I know you all know it, and that's why I keep pushing, even if it's a little outdated, where everybody wants to go to Facebook ads for more self-promotion, is I have found the most rewarding is those connections and meeting other people that have the community and a list that we say, hey, can we support each other? Can we help each other? And for all of us that are committed to the teaching, committed to transformation, not just self-promotion, I think that's the first and foremost and most healthy way to get that spark, you know what I mean, to really boom. And I think it's just, it's fun then, I mean, I meet good people, and we realize there's a synergy with our lists and our community, and all of a sudden I'm growing and they're growing, and oh, great. So that I think, Ryan, is the one space that's not about another Summit I'm doing, or Facebook ads, or Google remarketing, or whatever, or, you know, or trying to scramble to get speaking engagements. That's all fine, but this is where we collaboratively start really helping each other. And some of it is pure marketing. Others is actually, can I pick your brain on something as that relationship deepens? So I really encourage you. That is the classic teacher silo that must break down for your success. So people like Claire Zamet and Craig Hamilton, their only reason that company is big is because they, instead of self-promotion, they went out to those people to say, can you help? We got this new program, Calling in the One, can you help? Stephen Dinan launched Shift Network on that model completely. So now it's just harder because everybody is getting, like, they got the big list, right? So it's like, whoa, okay, Chris, I got my schedule's full, maybe we can squeeze you in. But it's still really been rewarding. So that's my plug for you guys, to start there, because all these other scrambling pieces are, can be just scrambling pieces and not have the impact like it can with collaborators, you know.
Scramble together.
Scramble together, right? And then James shall enter. Yes. Hello. He was out in the woods meditating.
No, my phone died.
Oh, I knew.
Gosh, your phone dies, your
That
car
doesn't have
dies.
James'
Well,
lane.
It can't be turned. Switch on.
Oh, I see, okay.
Oh, excuse me.
Yesterday it wasn't.
My car won't charge up my phone for some reason. That makes you use
Well, that's what drains your battery, right?
No, just kidding.
Sorry about that, guys.
No worries. Well, welcome, James. We're just having this great conversation, but what I'd like to do is take a pause and let you ground and check in, because we've all checked in. We took a minute or so to check in, and take a deep breath.
I'm disappointed for being late this morning. So knowing that. I got a speeding ticket from the
Oh,
blue
no.
motorcycle police officer.
Are you
You know,
serious?
that big hill that comes
Yeah,
down?
yeah. Oh,
They took her a ride on
I'm
the
sorry.
main road. So,
On the freeway?
no, the main road of,
Highway 101?
no, Bridgeway.
Bridgeway.
Yeah, there's a lot of cops
yeah,
on
he was
Bridgeway.
just going, he was proceeding right at the bottom of the hill.
Oh.
It's a trap.
It was totally a trap, yeah. So,
Sunday,
Oh, man.
getting people coming home from church.
Getting people going to dancing.
Anyway,
Mhm.
go ahead. Keep
So, yeah,
checking
anyway.
in, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad to be here. And I had a great, I spent the evening in the woods, it was wonderful. I loved it.
Great.
So it was really nice. In the dark,
Yeah.
the phone died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, great.
You're living on the edge.
And how are you feeling just from yesterday and into this morning? How are you doing with the work?
I loved the work from yesterday. I did not get the work done today because I slept in, so the one that I was planning to do with you, so.
Yeah.
So other
She
than that-
she did, so she
Excellent.
usurped you. Yeah.
Perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. Excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
So
Good.
welcome. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
I was a little worried because I
know,
didn't
and
get
I
it.
was-
I thought your phone
Couldn't
might have been
start the
dead.
phone up
Yeah, yeah,
to call you.
great. So thank you. Just to get you caught up, we just shared this beautiful conversation about, you know, supporting each other and the collaboration and peers coming together, and I was just reminding them within all the Lion is jealous of people that are above him, which was awesome, the other spectrum. And we're just saying that really this idea of partnering with colleagues in whatever form or fashion is one of the most heartfelt and best ways to build your business in practice. In the face of Facebook ads and shameless self-promotion and Tony Robbins waking up in the morning, people say, what's your first thought? You know, it's I'm going to promote myself today. How can I promote myself today? So it's great.
What if we switched it? I think it's not about me as much as it's about the message. And promoting myself is really about not promoting me, but wanting my message to get out there. So not thinking of it so much as how am I going to promote myself, but how am I going to get my message out there?
Agreed. Yeah.
How am I going
Very
to
Create impact.
create impact? How am I going to touch more people today?
That's
Can
well.
we do it that way?
Absolutely. Well said. Well
Can I get over
said.
myself so that I can serve?
Yeah. Yes. Get over. Right. And then it's not promoting myself.
Relentless message promotion.
Yeah.
Self-promotion.
There you go.
Martin Luther King Jr., that's what he always said. It's not ever about me, it's always about my message that's being channeled through God. And that's what we're doing with channeling through God,
Source spirit, yeah,
being, whatever.
great.
So
I'm
I
with
think
you.
we're all
Get
pretty
up.
brave, because what we're doing is like, it's not easy.
That's
There's
what,
like so
that's
many
what Aaron was
freaking-
saying.
So many moving parts to it, and I'm just looking, I'm thinking, I could be making 5 times what I'm making for a lot less effort if
I
go on
think
to-
that
wow.
all the time. I
So-
could be retiring
Absolutely.
really nice right now.
Yeah,
I
you
am
could have a
not
teacher
employable.
pension.
Well, yeah, I know.
I am
was just
so
gonna say, I
completely
couldn't.
not
I'm
employable. No way, that door has been
How,
slammed
how many
shut.
of you have made the absolute full commitment that you'll never work for a company? I know you.
Oh, sorry, me.
I was unemployable at 24.
Kimber, I might do a year or two, but I wouldn't do
Long time
full
ago.
on.
I know mine's just last 4 years ago, because I'd moved in and out of companies, you know, doing my own thing, and then somebody'd say, "We want you," and like, I'm done. I'm absolutely done of that
Yep.
kind of going and serving somebody else's vision, which is fine, but I want to serve my vision. So I love seeing that kind of like in a way. Again, yeah, I can't see you in some medical clinic, you know, doing your
I watch my husband come home every day, and thank God he is so willing to do that.
Yeah, I know. And Charmaine just finished at this foundation that, you know, kind of kicked her ass, and she's out, and she's so happy.
Yeah, like,
So. All right, you guys ready to switch gears? That was a great conversation. Actually, we unconsciously stalled for him, didn't we?
yeah, we did.
Or maybe consciously.
I even have a story, just in case you need it.
She had another story. That's good. That's good. Okay, so we are doing, as you see on the agenda, we are doing what I call launch planning and master dashboard work. So if you have the dashboard up on your laptop, Lion, I'm going to engage you in the first part of this, so you can't check out too much, because I think what will be helpful is for you to start thinking about the dates and all that as we go into that first, and then. Okay.
I was talking about when you get to the technology.
Oh, right. Okay, great. This afternoon, you mean? Yeah. Okay, got it. All right. So I'm going to pull up, I think, our master dashboard here. Just kind of the generic one. And okay, where did I put it? Content. Yeah, seriously, no, the one that I used for you guys, the general one. Oh, you're right here. The first copy and then rename. How about that? And let's make this bigger, but still so I can get around it. All right, so, okay, I'm going to try to make this go a little bit bigger. All right, can you guys see that okay? It's a pretty bright screen. Yeah, Lion, I know you guys are far away, but. All right, so,
General?
say again?
General.
General tab, yeah, if you want to look on your own.
Could you
Yeah.
tilt the screen this way?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, down a little
there,
bit?
that's good.
There we go,
Works
great.
better for me.
Okay, great. I'll come forward a little bit. His laptop there, our laptops are in the way. Okay. All right. So first of all, I'm just going to, we did this way back in, I think, month 1 of the course. So I'm just going to do a kind of quick review of the tabs first, and then we're going to come back to essentially to James' question is what am I really going to be using most of the time that I think are the places where I spend the most time on in the dashboard myself. I totally walk my talk, so every program I launch, I've got my dashboard and my partners in there and all that. So it's definitely a tool that you can be using actively and for every launch that you have. Even when you get good at it, I don't recommend people, I don't need to use the dash. You know, I really stay tuned to, okay, where are my milestones? How am I doing? So the general tab is pretty basic. I do encourage you to put everything down here that you have information on about your program. The weeks of the course, the anticipated pricing. Make it work for you. If you have 2 pricing line, then say that here's my 2 pricing structure, $397 and $1197. If it's for one single course. Lead generation options, I just put this here. You guys have heard this so many times, but you might have, too much for you to try.
I can't, it takes me like 10 minutes just to figure out how to find it.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah,
Isn't that
just
good?
look in here. That's totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So lead generation options, program components. These are all pretty basic. You can see whatever your course is going to be, whatever you want to have in it. It's important, especially if you have a program manager, to outline this so they know what they're going to be helping you co-create or put on a website, that kind of thing.
So can you, I'm sorry, while I was,
Sure.
had my head up my ass.
Yeah. Nice. Good visual. Yeah. How does it feel in there?
Well, everything's pretty dark and it stinks. So now I can see. So where are, James, can you just move that corner of your thing there?
Yeah.
We're on general. Okay,
Yeah.
so basically, I'm just needing to orient for a second,
Yeah.
sorry. So,
Yeah. Oops, sorry.
it just looks like a lot of words to me right now. So, and I know
Right.
you're going through it quickly, and I know you probably need to, but,
Yeah. What questions do you have here? This is really just the general outline of your course,
Yeah,
of what the
okay.
pieces are, the title.
Can I just ask a question, which is kind of like a live example? So,
Sure. Yeah.
so lead generation options. Let's say for my, excuse me, from my course, I've decided to
Thank
do free webinar, partners, and
Social media,
just
hopefully.
social media free. So
Yeah.
would I just delete the other two
Yeah,
for
if you
this
want.
particular
Yeah.
one? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that kind of
yeah.
practical? Like,
Yeah.
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 Practically.
Just
And
phrase
that'll
it.
also, this will also come in your, under your marketing plan too.
Right.
But it's just a nice reminder for anybody working with you. Yeah, these are the things we're going to do.
Because the template, I'm trying to get on the same page. I think they go. The template has all the information we could ever need for any kind of launch.
Correct,
So
yeah.
once we save it as this
Exactly.
particular course, then we start taking information out that we're not using.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, so
So
how do
that
you
it-
do that?
Delete.
Just delete
No,
them.
no,
Just
no, I know.
highlight and
Sorry.
She
My
knows
head's not
that, yeah.
far. My head's- So how to actually, are you creating a duplicate? That's what I
Yes.
wanna know.
Yeah.
Okay, and
So-
how do you do that? Like I just,
So I just did save as.
You just do, yep, go to file here.
Okay.
And I recommend you guys do it in Google Doc, make a copy anytime you want. That's what I was saying, first copy and then rename. Is
Okay.
anytime you want to create a new one, you're just going to make a copy and look what happens. It allows you to just make a copy and you rename it your
Rename
other
it,
course.
okay.
Yeah,
okay,
Yep.
Okay, mine's not in Google Doc yet. All right.
yeah.
Okay.
I would highly recommend in Google Doc because if you guys have it in an Excel spreadsheet and all that, just a nightmare to collaborate with other people on. So just in whatever you're shared, I mean, you can do this as one of the, you can have one of the like project management platforms, but they're way more complicated than just having this in Google Docs.
Right.
So like if you look
So
at
just in a nutshell, the difference in having it in Google Docs is,
every,
in one sentence.
yeah, that you can have anybody and everyone, including me as your
Oh,
coach,
is the shareable.
collaborate and put stuff directly in it.
Yeah, so
Same
it's-
time,
So it's still an
simultaneously.
Excel spreadsheet, it's just available to everyone.
Correct,
Okay,
yes,
got
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I thought there was some sort of technical change that happened.
No, nope.
Got it.
So like here is one of my clients, Parenting Your Strong-Willed Child, 7 weeks, there's his start date, the price, and then these are the program components. These are unique to him. He could have deleted some of these because I don't think he's going to do Facebook ads, but like you said, he could have pulled those out. Here's all his bonuses. He actually wrote them all out, and then he didn't actually, you know, these are the ones that he's going to use, but like Maestro, he could have deleted that. He's not going to use Maestro, but he is using Zoom, Ontraport, Stripe, Access Ally. And look, once you do it, it just takes you 10 minutes. It's mostly for anybody working with you that you could go, oh, check out the general tab. Oh, you're using these things. Oh, these are your bonuses. Cool. You know, so anyway, I find that generally once it's set up, I hardly ever go back to the general tab, guys, unless I'm introducing somebody to my course.
so he has shared this with you, and
Yeah.
you're gonna launch for him?
Not
I mean, you're
launch for
gonna-
him,
you're
I'm
gonna-
his
you're gonna-
coach,
you're
yeah,
gonna share.
I'm
Oh,
coaching
you're
him.
coaching him.
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
coaching him. Yeah, he's
But this
just
is the
like
one
you
that
guys.
Ashley's working on.
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah. So he's, you know, I have, and then, so everybody's got their own little, I think I might even have my Launch Academy one here. There are you guys. It's milestones. So this is mine for Launch Academy, you know. So, so if we come back here, so you just, you know, and again, I'm going to make this simple on you. If when you have most of this known, it takes you 10 minutes to just fill it out and be done with it.
Yeah.
So that's general tab. I hardly come back to it once it's done.
Can I ask a question with this? I'm not
Yeah.
comfortable with Excel. Does it save automatically? Is it like a
Yes.
daily basis
When
where
it's
you
what's
don't
great
have to
in
save it?
exactly
And
Google
Google
Doc
Docs,
Watch.
same.
Anytime I do something like this, it'll go through a little. It's going through a little saving thing, and it saves every change every second that I make a change.
Okay, and
That's
does it do
what's
that
in-
when it's in Excel as well? Because I'm not in
No,
Google Docs yet.
no, that's what I'm saying. Don't ever,
Make sure you save
like,
it.
I can't tell you, I'm just gonna beat it out of you. Be in Google Docs, just, it is so easy, it's free.
Got it, I
Um,
just can't
yeah.
do it right now.
No,
So
no,
I'm
I
just
know,
trying to pay
I know.
attention right
Yes,
now.
exactly.
What's easy for me to get to.
Well, because I still have people still using
Talk to me,
Excel
Taz.
spreadsheets, and it's like, no, don't. So yes, once you put it in here, I can even if I lose the, let me show you where I can. Where is okay? Okay, look. So check this out. So even if I made all these changes and stuff, and then something went wrong, and I like deleted a whole section, like
Yeah.
I literally go back to Vision History. Check this out. Check this out.
Nice.
It's like minute by minute saving, and all I do is scroll through and find, I think it was right about there. I click it, and it brings back that version in 2 seconds.
I did
So you
not know
never
that.
can never ever lose anything, even if you delete a whole sheet or anything like that. So that's version history, which is
Okay.
awesome.
Where'd you get that?
That was under File menu,
File, okay.
and it's called version history.
Okay.
And you can move stuff around, make copies here and all that of any sheet. It's very much like Excel in that way. It's just accessible to everyone that you share it. And here's all the sharings. So
Do copy
I know.
functions work in that? 'Cause mine don't. I have to use like somewhere Control X, Control C.
Inside Google Doc,
Yeah.
no, I just go to the file menu here, and these are copies
Not
and stuff.
copy things within it. Like, go to edit,
Oh yeah,
new copy.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, yours doesn't work either. You have to do Control C. You can't.
Oh,
do
Control
that.
C. Yeah, yeah. Which I do almost anyway on my
Okay.
thing. So on my so yeah.
There's somebody talking in the background, I'm just wondering which computer it is.
No, it's actually I think people that are next door because they're doing some work on their kitchen next door. Let me just make sure what's going on. Or is there?
Thanks for reminding me.
Is there? Maybe there's a video going. I mean, maybe. Hang on one second.
That's
Oh, it's the live stream. It's the live stream. It's happening. Okay.
It's us. Oh my God.
That's so trippy.
It's her.
It's
her
the.
alternate self.
That's yesterday's. I could just stop it.
Oh my God.
Okay, good. That's yesterday's.
It is kind of weird.
That is
because,
so
like,
weird.
How can you be in two places at once? You really know where-
Wow.
So thank you, Aaron. That was us coming through the volume here. That's trippy. All right. All right. So yeah, anything else? And then feel free to put your like high-level avatar stuff here. But you have your avatar document. I just put it in here if people wanted to again share it with designers, share this document with program managers. They could also see some of that basic information here. But don't worry about it. You could always have a second document around that. And then technology systems, which we'll be talking about in the afternoon as well. I love putting the team here. So who is your team? And you can put phone numbers or email addresses, whatever you want here. So any questions about the general tab? Okay. So milestones. So
on that
yeah.
general tab, you also had your launch date.
yes, yeah, right here.
Okay.
Yeah, projected course. Very specific around this, and I probably could put another, you know what, if I'm gonna just put another one in here, because sometimes I just keep thinking. So your course start date is truly your first session's start
Right.
date.
So your
But there
launch-
is, yeah, you could have a marketing, what we call a marketing launch date. And there's several of those. That marketing launch date, I would consider the first date for the marketing goes out for your webinar. That's really the launch, right? Here's the date where I'm going to ask people to send out information about my webinar. So that might be a good month beforehand.
And
yeah.
then would you also put in webinar date?
You could, yeah. Yeah, and I'll show you that's in the milestones here.
Okay.
So that's like free, you'll see there's a sales page, free event delivered date and all that. So we'll go through the milestones. But yeah, you could, it might be helpful on this first one to put, this might be
What did you insert?
1:16.
Excel
Marketing,
row?
What? Oh.
Technically,
it was.
Yeah, just you go to the, you can click on the number of the row and you can insert, and it inserts the row above, row below. You know, you can
Oh, I'm
do
on
that.
Google, I'm in Excel.
Exactly. So it's a little different in Excel. I mean, you just,
It's still highlighted.
it's similar.
and
You
do-
still go to the file menu or the insert menu in Excel. So yeah, thank you for reminding that really those are the two fundamental dates. It's about 6 weeks. The start of the marketing for your webinar is almost consistently 6 weeks before the start of your course, because you have roughly 2 weeks until your webinar, and then from your webinar you have about 3 weeks. So it's either 5 or 6 weeks, depending. Again, I'm teaching you a model that's more based on the webinar model into a course and more like a university model. If any of you have heard of Jeff Walker's work and product launch formula and all that, I call that the next step, because it's, you know, in terms of trying to take that on as a launch, that's where you have the course.
Many more moving parts.
Way more moving part. It's
What are you referring
insane.
to?
Product
Step back.
product launch formula.
Jeff Walker's.
He's kind of the guru that created a very specific structure where you have 3 content. People send multiple emails that are partners to each of those content that ends in a webinar, and then the cart to buy the course is only open for like 5 days. And then there's emails every day, sometimes twice a day or 3 days. Close the cart down.
What you see Brendan Bouchard doing and stuff.
Very intense, and so some of you might get to that point. There's a power to that, especially for a course that's 1996, you know, a $2,000 product. But let's not even go there, but just know that as you get more sophisticated, you can potentially do that kind of launch.
Yeah.
What we're doing is more like a university. You've got 3 weeks, and there's all these emails, and it's not like 5 days, and the cart's closing
And a
today.
webinar, one single. So you only do one webinar, is that right? 'Cause,
And an encore,
Amy-
and the encore, remember?
Yeah,
webinar.
Amy Porterfield does more, I think, webinar chances, like three webinars.
Yeah, and we have 2, the encore.
Yeah.
And then also, you can easily do this, and I did this for Launch Academy, is you can do the same webinar with your partners, and you just schedule the date to do with their audience. Does that make sense? So same webinar that you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
You normally do it alone, and then you do it once, and then you do it in encore.
The encore is a recording.
No, the encore is live. Encore is live, so you can answer questions again and do that whole Q&A thing.
Okay.
But what you can do, this is next level stuff, is if you have partners with a big list, let's say they have a 30,000 person list, and they like to be the interviewer of you, they announce, I'm doing this special webinar with Aaron Birch, same exact webinar, and they just introduce you, ask a couple of light questions, and you roll with your webinar. That's a way of getting a partner engaged that doesn't want to just send a blast to your webinar. And I'm not saying all your partners would do it. I did that with Jeff Affleck, and
Yeah, I
I
was
did
just
that,
gonna say that.
and I did that with Jonathan Bender. So I did that both, just for us to
What
explore.
made it different? What did
They hosting. the
They
webinar.
hosting it.
Okay.
And that means that they can say in their email, I'm so excited to be co-hosting this thing with Chris. It makes them a little bit more like the teacher rather than go see this thing that Chris is doing.
Right, that's
You
a great
trust
way to-
him.
So the
Yeah.
webinar, you two were together and
Correct.
filmed it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I delivered the same thing. They just welcomed me, introduced me, so great, Chris. And then we just planned halfway through. He just asked a couple questions. I wouldn't recommend that for the first launch because there's so many like moving parts already. Like, how do I schedule that?
I'm scaling back.
Yeah, yeah. Webinar course, exactly.
Yeah.
So-
Whoever comes, that's great.
So remember, and I'll just keep reiterating because last year it was not clear to several people, is that you do always want to run an encore because you scoop up a bunch of more.
I got up 130
Miracle, yeah.
people, 30 people stayed on
Wow.
for 20 minutes waiting for me to come back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did manage to finish it, but of course, you know, the recording was totally bad, and I was completely embarrassed. So having, in fact, Chris,
Plan,
what you're
pre-plan.
having, you're having the second webinar, and I went,
Oh yeah.
oh no, I forgot about it. So I immediately, you know, planned the next webinar, and about, 70 or 80 people showed up.
Yeah.
That's
But then
amazing.
I-
Screen, and then you send the whole list that, hey, if you missed it, here's your recording. It's all part, you'll see it in the email sequence when you look at the examples. It's all the webinar, then it's your recording is ready and I've announced this special course. That's your kickoff to your marketing for the course. And so Lion was able to use the second recording and boom, it was already planned to do the encore, and he was like, whew, I don't have to go and edit it. And people will still edit the recording if they choose to. So even the good one, they go in and, oh gosh, there was a section that I hated, or all these ums, and literally, you know,
I took
you
every
took your
out.
out.
Yeah,
Wow.
I spent 2 hours editing the recording, and it came out really clean.
Yeah.
But I'm do that.
Amazing what good editing does.
I know, isn't it? You know, and it saves.
I got the best speech I never gave.
Right. Exactly. There's no like,
Best speech I never gave.
So lots of cool stuff with that. So we'll get in that when I get into the milestones a bit, but thank you for that line. It shows you the power of the encore. So then when the encore comes 2 or 3 days later, you're ready for your marketing into the course, and that gives you the full 3 weeks of the marketing into the course, which we'll talk about in a second.
So Chris, did you just say that, okay, Encore's done, you've got a good recording, and that recording is embedded in the offer now for the course? The webinar recording is embedded in the offer for the course, is that what you just said?
No, not
The
the
offer
offer
for
for
the course is embedded in the webinar.
Yeah, no, the email that you send out to every, because remember, only a percentage of people actually listen to it live. You have a list of 1,000 people who signed up and only 250
Right,
showed
okay,
up.
okay.
So now you need to get to those other people. So your first email is, we had an amazing event, here's your
Here's the-
recording.
okay.
But then ... By the way, I made this special announcement about my course. So it becomes
In the
your,
webinar, right,
yeah,
okay, got it.
yeah. No, in the email too. I mean, in the webinar, but also in the email.
But in the email, you're referring to the fact that you said this in the webinar.
Exactly.
Oh, by the way, I
That's
happened
right.
to mention
You
this
got
in
it.
my webinar.
You got it. You got it. You know, like, hey, here's the recording. Oh, if you missed it, there's a special announcement that I made.
Yeah,
You know,
got it.
I mean, it's it's formulaic language, and you can make it figure out how to make it work for you guys, but it's true, right? I think it's a special announcement of something
Yeah.
powerful that I don't want you to miss.
It was.
And,
I should probably start following the emails of one of these things I always delete, just to see the sequence happening.
Absolutely.
Every once in a while, I'll read
Can
an
I-
email in the middle of a campaign and go, what are they talking about?
Can I
did
show
that
you-
1 or 2 weeks ago.
Can I show you guys what I have?
Don't pay attention.
Look at my email. Look what I have here. So I have Eben Pagan, who's a big guy, and so I'm tracking
He
him.
does launch,
The HP.
product launch though.
Exactly. Jeff Walker is here. I do what you do is I get on a full campaign. Here is the Andy and Marcus's that you saw that holistic product blueprint thing. I wanted to track everything they sent to partners because I want to be doing something similar next year. So I, once in a while, not with everybody, get on one that you respect and track every email and save it into a folder. Because then you
That
can.
you
This
respect,
gives me
that's the
hives.
problem.
I know, it gives you hives, yeah. But
Well,
anyway,
can't
that's,
do
You can automatically set it up so it
Which
goes
part?
into a folder.
I know,
Oh,
but
that.
So you
gives you eyes.
Did you actually participate or did you just sign
Yeah.
up?
I participated.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is what he was
Don't have
sending
to
me,
ban it.
and I wanted to save it, and I
I
loved
might be
it.
able to some point, but
I've
Yeah.
done
Oh,
that.
you're,
You
like,
have
you're
to-
as a
online
participant,
sends me into
so you're.
Yeah, I was a
capturing
partner.
all their emails. Oh, you're a
Yeah,
partner.
I was a partner here, but I also with Jeff Walker, I'm a participant where I was receiving stuff as if I signed up for it. You don't want to do it with too many people, but take some people you like, maybe a certain teacher, and then sign up for their free event, and then see all the emails that come in.
Well, and I suppose if I want to change what I'm doing so it stands out from Shift Network, I should
Yeah.
actually look at a whole Shift Network campaign and not just delete
And not do it, yeah, and exactly, and then decide what works
I
for
mean,
you.
that's
And
my
I,
morning, right? I log onto my email and I just delete all that crap. I don't even read it.
I know.
Delete it based on subject.
and all I'm
I
going
don't
to
read
invite you
emails.
is just pick one thing and see how they track it, not like, oh my God, all these emails, and then see how one course that you like.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's Sue Mortars, you just missed that one, but her energy codes course, and she had a pretty
Well,
authentic.
Sandy has one coming up, I might try.
Okay, great. So anyway, I deviate there, but just to show you, it gives her hives, but it's kind
At
of
this
nice.
point in time,
Yeah.
that's all.
But I'm planning to do more of a product launch, formula launch for Launch Academy next year. I've proven the formula out. I got a lot of good content, so I want to be able to bring more energy to it with partners. And so I wanted to track how Andy and Marcus was
How do
doing
you
it.
save that email like that?
Is that Andy?
Oh, I just pull it into a folder.
You can just pull the email in?
Yeah,
You didn't have
so-
to copy paste?
So if I go like this and just grab this, I
Oh,
just
okay,
drop
great.
it. I just
Okay.
drop it into the
Yeah,
folder.
that's
Yeah.
great.
How do you get a,
That's helpful.
How do I what?
Just create a folder.
You go to mailbox.
Yeah, mailbox, and you
Mailbox,
just
and
right
up
here.
at the top.
Sorry. Yeah.
And you can
Oh,
make a
this is a
smart
folder
mailbox
in
that'll
your
do
email.
that.
This is a
And so
folder
I
in
just
your
do a
email.
new mailbox. I don't do a smart one. I mean, I
Yeah.
could, but I just do new mailbox, and it'll tell me where I want it, and I need to put it inside one of these folders. And here it's going to be in, I can't remember
But
which
that
one.
says iCloud. I thought you were in your
I'm
email
so
format.
confused.
No, it's all right. Don't worry. I'm sorry. I'm like jumping around here,
I do
but
want to know how to do this, but
yeah.
I can't.
bottom line is you can just create a folder. You'll figure that out, and when you create a folder, you can just move emails directly into a folder like that. You can just grab it.
Within Gmail, you create a folder.
No, this is all Mac Mail.
So this is, oh, okay.
No, this is
Okay.
this is my Gmail
Okay.
inside my
Got
Mac
it.
Mail.
Okay. Yeah,
Here's
that's what I
Chris
do too.
Kyle.
That's what I
Here's
do.
Yahoo.
Okay, so
Oh.
these weren't
Yeah.
iCloud folders. These were
These are folders in Mac
Got it.
Mail
Okay.
folders.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
pulling down.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot better, easier to manage. I can't stand Gmail. I don't know if you guys, it drives me nuts. I can't figure out how they've organized it, so I'm in
I
Mac
use
now.
that one.
So, Chris, I know you're trying to go forward and we're going.
Yeah.
whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah.
But you
Exactly what I'm
you
doing.
worked for not Shift,
Evolving Wisdom.
Evolving Wisdom, and
Yeah.
did they follow your format? Or
No, they're my mentors. I'm following their format.
You're following their format.
Mhm.
And how is Shift Networks different? Is it substantially
No,
different?
same.
Same format.
Same exact formula. It kind of comes from people like Lisa Sasevich, Frank Kern. So
So there's
they're
some-
sitting on their mentors. But what I loved about Craig and Claire is Claire was committed to saying, let's figure out an authentic marketing flow that feels resonant with who we are within the structures that work. And so they went away from some of the heavy-handed online marketing, Frank Kearney stuff, to get it to be like, okay, and Lisa's she's the real deal. If you've met Lisa,
I haven't met her,
she's
but I've
awesome.
certainly-
Good.
Yeah.
And she's authentic and she's heart-based, so they're following the
that
whole
really true?
heart. I think so. I mean, she's a self-promoter.
She's
like-
a massive self-promoter.
so,
Oh my
but
God.
look at we were just
She
saying that.
positions herself right up there with God.
I know,
Yeah, actually.
I know, I know. But her message is good,
And
and
she knows how to dance well.
yeah.
But
So
it's like, how do we use the technology? I mean,
yeah,
right,
right,
you have
right.
to ask the question, how do we do this task with the technology, especially as the technology's changing?
Right, yeah, and then there's both a technology of a marketing technology, and then there's the technology, right? And so what Craig and Claire were doing is how do we create experiences that are transformative? How do we market about that in a way that's authentic? And so it's challenging, though. It's challenging that fine line. And so I learned from them how they built their model in a way that felt, it felt both authentic, and it also felt like it was successful enough. Does that make sense? Without having to really push it, and I think even Product Launch Formula is really pushing the edge of just like slamming you with a barrage of stuff, but it's in a shorter window, so everybody goes, oh, okay, it's going to be over. The cart closes tomorrow. Thank God. I don't want it 5-10 more emails, but
But if I followed like a Shift Network campaign, I'd see
Similar.
what I'm trying to do.
Yep.
So it's close enough for
Yep.
me to watch.
Yep.
The thing about Shift is that they put people in buckets, and probably Evolving Wisdom does too.
Yeah.
They'll send one email out to their general audience saying, hey, there's a free webinar. And then everybody that responds gets put into a bucket, that's what they call it. And then all the rest of the emails go to that bucket. They don't go to the general email list.
Right.
That may not apply to you if you don't have an
That's an
expensive list, but
Infusionsoft
it's-
kind of.
well, tagging, they're all
it's important.
tagged, yeah.
Yeah, it's important just to recognize that if you don't sign up for one of Shift's thing, you only get one email about it. Once you sign up, then you get the sequence.
Yeah, and he's bringing a great point, is certain teacher levels, they may not do the full campaign even to that bucket list. They may not try to hurt, they may only do 3 or 4 emails. What I'm teaching you is over 3 weeks that your people in your list, your bucket list, might get 10 to 12 emails. Evolving Wisdom pretty much does that for every teacher because they're committed to every teacher. So I know Stephen has a different flow depending on where you are in the pecking order of how much energy they put into a campaign. So in a way, I think you'd be better served to, one of each maybe is go to Evolving Wisdom and sign up for a free event with one of their, like maybe Lynn Twist's program or Feminine Power, and see what they do, because they're going to give the full energy to each of their teachers.
So you're signing up just for the sequence up
Just
to
to
the
watch
point.
it.
Yeah, just to watch, yeah.
Just to see what
Just to
they're
see what
saying.
emails they send out and how they do it and all that. Yeah, I'm always checking how people are tweaking their
Yeah.
campaign.
I do that.
And so that's,
They change it because they get bored.
yeah, they get bored. Yeah, they get bored of their own thing, and so like Ryan Eliason's another good guy. So see, again, I can see what a campaign would start from. Like, look at how often these are. His campaign started in June.
And these
So
are the
right
people
here.
mailing for him, like Brenda?
No, this is all him now. Me signing up for
But-
something, and
Yeah, but I'm
yeah.
saying, so you signed up through like to Callan's and
As a potential
Brenda's.
prospect.
yes, right. No, I signed up for Ryan's thing so that I could
No, but
see
I'm
what his.
seeing these
Yeah.
other emails, so I don't
Yeah.
understand where.
Oh, you're seeing
There
the
are
other
other online
tab.
marketers. Those are online marketers that all
Those
have their
are
own
just like
program.
folders.
This is
No,
like
no,
the-
no,
Wait, are you
no,
looking at the
no,
emails
no,
or the
no.
folders?
Like in this folder, Ryan Lassen.
Yeah,
In here,
these are people that are mailing for him. Yeah.
mailing for him. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to see what some people were doing. Like
That's what I
he's.
thought.
So here's Rich talking about Ryan Eliason's thing.
Okay.
Yeah. hmm So then I get to see not only were a few partners, how are his partners sending stuff to him, but then all his emails for his campaign, right? Yeah. And he's somebody he's definitely I haven't had a chance to have a deeper conversation with him, but would be aligned because he kind of goes the visionary business school, and I'm squarely in create your online course. So I think there's a great fit.
Ryan?
Ryan, yeah,
Okay.
for me, yeah, for me personally.
I've
Down
met
there.
him. I've met him.
Yeah, I've met him a couple times too, but so he will be a high level partner for me to approach for my launch this next year, and I have Sage Levine I know well, and she knows him well, and so I got access into him. So,
Yeah.
so general tab, any questions?
You know what?
Yeah,
Are we done?
yeah, we're done with it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, are we done with the whole thing?
We're done with the whole.
Oh,
Just
I'm
like
thinking
yeah,
of
just
it.
do this.
No.
It's important.
Just do this, Aaron. Just kind of go like that, you know.
La,
Okay.
la, 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 la.
Really important. So, fine. I mean, this is pretty basic, right? So
Right,
you got
yeah.
okay. So general, we're done with general. So here is one of the more important tabs.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Milestone tabs. So what I encourage you to do, and part of the work we're going to do today, if we have time at the end of as I ask you to kind of put some dates and stuff in, is to actually start putting these dates in, and either handwriting them or go to your dashboard, wherever it is, whether it's Excel or whatever. And here's what I'm going to invite you to do is start from the bottom and work up. So course begins. This is the date you want to start with, because then you can work backwards from that date. Okay? And then and that's your stake in the ground. April 28th is going to be the start of my course. And then I start working backwards. Now, these are all set up. It's a little too much right now to go through all of the dates, but they're set up within a sequence that you can see if you just change this. If you look at the dates and you realize what they are, you can kind of reverse engineer.
Is that like Excel where if you change the one date, then everything else?
No, it doesn't.
Automatically.
No, that would be sweet. I should try to do that.
Should be two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I do that with dates? I can do it with numbers, but I don't know if you can do it with dates. Okay, that's another piece.
A macro.
This brilliant thing is going to get even more brilliant.
You would be too boxed in though. You'd have to-
I know,
yeah,
it's
that
going to be weird. And really, you have to massage the dates in your own mind if it falls on a Sunday and things like that, so it's just weird. But what I would do is the yellow ones are for you to think back. So this is what I'm going to give you is the yellow dates of where. So here's the course. If it starts on November, then the free event delivered. So don't worry about these other stuff in the middle. The free event delivered should be about 3 weeks before. 3 weeks before that. So this would be right where you see here of the 11th is roughly 3 weeks before November 1st. So that's what I'm saying. You can reverse engineer your dates here by just counting. Okay.
And you're
And
gonna
then the
give us
first
time later
email.
to do that?
Say again?
You're gonna give us a little time later to actually
Yes.
do this? Okay,
Yeah.
then
Yep.
we'll-
Yeah. You don't have to do it now. Yeah.
Actually, you know what, rather than doing the date macro,
Yeah.
you could just have
A plus.
column with,
The plus dates backwards, or
Right.
yeah. I think I will do that. I might just make a column here. The plus, this date either plus all the way
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Date minus 21.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so there's that one, and then just so you know, the sales page live is the other big one, which a lot of these are pretty obvious to you, is your sales page has to be live for the first delivery of your webinar, because that's where you're telling them about your course and sending them to your sales page at the end of your webinar, right? You're giving them the offer. Here's your course, and let me tell you about the course, blah, 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 and then you say, you can go to that page right now and follow along with me. You did that right in there. So you give them the URL there. So that means your sales page, this is your absolute deadline, which is good. It lights a fire under everybody. It has to be ready when you deliver your webinar or you're dead. They have to be able to go to the page and buy the course right there. And you will get some people that buy it right there.
Chris, do you have versions of these emails where? Don't you have the template for these emails?
Yeah, that's
scripted?
all. That's all in the program under the email marketing sequences and all
So
that.
it's not in the dashboard,
It's not in the dashboard.
got
It's here. Let me just show you quickly. It's here in summary. Do you see this here in
yes.
summary?
They all got names.
They all got
numbers,
but yep,
sequences.
yeah.
That's
So
gonna really help.
right.
Yeah.
So now the other big milestone is your marketing window opens. We talked about that before. So that is for the first emails to your webinar, for your webinar, and that is about 10 days to 2 weeks beforehand. So here we are. This one is a little off because I think I changed this to show somebody an example. So I'm sorry, I think it's off.
This
So
is
this
before
How
the
many
webinar.
days?
It's about 10 days to 14 days, depending on how it falls with weekends and stuff,
Before the webinar.
before the webinar. Yeah. So this would be, if the webinar is delivered on 10/11, I would say this would be like 9/24, something like that.
And this is roughly the
Oops.
5 to 6 weeks before the course starts.
Yeah, exactly.
Which event are you on, what line?
Right here, 19, and let me highlight this there too.
Oh, market.
Have you ever split testifying? Because a lot of the folks are saying, 4 or 5 days, not more than that, because
The
otherwise
window
people,
is shrinking.
well, because people, they sign up and then they don't do it. They actually are. They say that they get a better result if they do 4 days out before they announce it than if they do, 2 weeks out.
Yeah, so here's the challenge. Here's the challenge. I know all about that. The real challenge is you have these partners
Yes.
that you want to support. You cannot give them such a narrow window,
sense.
they will say no.
That makes sense.
So the challenge is you can't give them 3. You would love to give them 4. I'd love to give them 4 weeks because then they go, oh, I can just do it anyway. But that doesn't work. So the sweet spot is right about 10 days to 2 weeks. So they have enough window to mail.
Yeah.
And then it's not too far away from the actual webinar. Clearly what happens, guys, anyway, I guarantee you this, you give them that window and then everybody blasts within 5 days. They just forget and then you remind them. And so what happens is 80% of the people will send that email within about 5 days of the webinar. But some of the people like to jump on it early if they're on it because they know the lists overlap a lot. And if they're the first one in, first one in, first one out on the cookie, anybody else from another list comes in, they don't get the commission. It's already locked in. So like Susan Bratton, my partner, loves to, whenever, Susan
No, are
Bratton?
you saying, like, if
She's-
they have same people on their list, the
Yeah.
first, okay.
So Susan, on the first day of the window, if she's on it, she sends her email in the very first day of the window of it's open to beat out anybody else that might have similar names on their lists. Yeah, and then that means she'll get the commission if they click. And it's a numbers game, but they might get 2 more commissions from that. But my experience, to your point, is it all comes down to that 5 days when you're making sure everybody, and then that's when it's the right window.
So for your people you've sent, if you've sent it, a week out, you also notice sometimes they don't show up. They don't show up as much if you send them. If you I've wondered, is it smart to just put all my any webinars I have a month out or 2 months out if I know something's coming on the calendar on my website or
No, let me understand the question. You're
Yeah.
saying is there a challenge to get them to show up live? Do you know what I mean?
to show up live? Do you find that if you let them know 2 weeks ahead of time, there's less people show up?
No, here's my experience, and the why I can't fully test that for you is when you come to the marketing plan, here is why you mitigate that. So anybody that signs up early in the window, let's say they sign up 2 weeks out, I am not just letting them sit all the way until the day of. I'm sending an email that builds excitement about the webinar. I'm sending another one that's about tips and reminder, and then 24 hours, 6 to 12 hours, 5 minutes before.
So those are optional.
Some of these are optional here. From the 24 hours here is not optional.
Okay.
So that's 1, 2, 3, and then the encore is 4, and then the day of encore 5.
Got it.
So what happens is you are driving traffic by saying, don't forget, and here's some tips and reminders and stuff like
This
that.
is just you to your list, this is not people,
This is actually to the opt-in list that's come in from all your partners are starting to
Okay.
build this new list for you.
okay.
And it's easy. In Infusionsoft or whatever, it gets tagged as your webinar list. It's all automated. And so what happens is the opt-in list is all your partners are blasting to your webinar, and this new list is growing inside Infusionsoft or Ontraport. Okay? They're all signing up for your webinar, and that's its own list. Does that make sense?
It does,
Yeah.
I just can't hold this many pieces.
Yeah, it's all right. Just stay with it. Stay in the flow with it. And
Who'd you
it's,
have
I wanna add-
before on your part?
Sorry, I want to add that these dates were driving me a little crazy, but also driving my actions in my launch because I knew when I wanted to send the sequences, and that was set up in Infusionsoft, but I didn't have those emails pre-written. So like the day before it was to go out, I'm like
right.
furiously writing and editing, and then it went out. And then the next day it was coming. It's like furiously writing. So the more work you do in advance,
The better.
Yeah, because
yeah.
those are stressful.
Yeah,
enough.
and Lion, I've done exactly the same thing, Lion. Just because there's so many moving parts, trust that if that's the case, it's like raising a kid and the kid is sick at 2 o'clock in the morning and you get up and you do it. So I'm sorry you had to go through that, and that's just par for the course. And yes, if you could do more in front of it, awesome.
Yeah, and I
But
also
it's
know
still
that my next launch, those are pre-written.
Exactly.
And then I just have to.
That's
find
exactly
it.
right. Once you do this first launch, now the next launch is so much easier. That's why I keep talking about a pilot launch. Take the pressure off yourself. Be happy with 15 people in your launch, ready for that next time where you really go for it. So that's really what I was encouraging. So you don't.
So I'm just thinking about my potential partners.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people like me, so like if I go work, I'm away for a week and I don't really have solid access to the internet. So
Yeah.
if someone wants me to be an affiliate, I need to know way ahead of time because I have to schedule emails out because I might be gone in their 2-week
Yes.
window.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
it seems to me like I have to
You have to do it.
give bigger,
Yeah. If
like
you're.
a time frame to cultivate the affiliates and then
right.
when the window, then remind them early just in case they're not gonna be around during the window.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause there are
Absolutely.
times I can't even, I don't have technology.
Yeah,
for the 2-week window.
you're in a unique situation where you go off the grid for these big chunks of time. You absolutely use this to say, this is you, to say, I've got to write this, and this, and you just have to get it done. At least the part while you're gone, so you can come back and do part 2. I agree.
And then
Like you don't want to
Andrea-
do it Lion's Way. You're going to have to get that all set up in
Right, and
advance.
then Andrea can just watch it while I'm away because she's
Right?
here on the grid paying attention and
and
can send emails.
talking to partners, and
Yeah.
if partners have questions, that you can make sure she's on every email. Contact my assistant; she can help you with blah 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 blah.
Plus she's better than I am.
And remember, this is there's a whole separate set of emails for partners that's not here, just so you know, and
Yeah.
that's in the documents too. What do I communicate to partners
And
with?
that's a different.
Different
You didn't
document.
put it in there.
I should, you know what? it's another thing to put in here too.
Yeah,
Whatever you-
because that schedule is happening even before this schedule.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah. I think what I'll do is under marketing. I know. So what I'll probably do is under marketing plan, I'll probably have a 3 thing. It'll probably be step 1, 2, and 3, and step 1 is actually partners and all the partner email. So I'll do that. Because it's in here, just to let you know, it's those ones about communicating to partners is not in here, but this first one of the free event announcement is in here where it says marketing partners, and that's the partner list, so that's here. But all the other just communicating with them is
That'll be real helpful to
beforehand.
have, actually.
Yeah, okay. So so coming back to milestones, let me just finish this last one. So right here is the last key one is the free event landing page. So remember, your deliverables are just 2 physical things: your webinar landing page where they register and your sales page. Those are your only deliverables other than your technology and your marketing stuff.
And sales page is course.
Is your course page, right, is your course page. By the way, just to remind you again, please, anything other than with your team or your staff, we don't call it a sales page. Nobody wants to be sold.
Right.
So to the public and to anybody that would buy your course, it's your course information page or your course page. It's not, so we use it a lot because it's just easy to define it from any other page. That's my sales page, but don't call it a sales page to your customers at all, or potential clients, okay? The free event landing page, so that needs to be done the day before at least. Now hopefully,
Line are you on?
line 18. So free event landing page, so that needs to be done at the latest the day before your window opens. I would hope that you possibly could get that up several weeks before, but that's the deadline, that's the due date. And the reason why you might want it up a few weeks ahead of time, if that's possible, is then you could tell your partners as you're communicating with them, hey, check out the webinar page, and then they get more excited and they're more willing to support it when they see, whoa, what a great offering, that looks really professional. But your absolute deadline is it has to be ready when you open the marketing window, okay?
This is really helping me understand some of the experiences I've had as an affiliate,
Right.
why certain things didn't make sense because they're not ready yet.
That's right, exactly, it wasn't
Yeah.
ready. Yeah, exactly,
Okay,
so,
but just
yep.
because I need to put this in my reality, because I need to do all of this before January, I would have all of this ready with Entreport and
Yeah.
everything all set up before I go on this trip for the launch in the spring.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah, at least through your webinar, and I don't know if you have to complete your sales page. Do you have time when you get back to finalize that? Because
No,
that's a lot of
No,
work. The sales page has to be
I'm
done?
not gonna be able to sleep on vacation if it's not all done.
Even the sales page?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
gonna be like
Okay.
in the.
Good for you, drive it,
or
drive it.
whatever, yeah, I mean, it has to be done or I'm not gonna be able to be vacating.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be thinking about it and, oh my God, I didn't do this and I'm not gonna be sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not vacation.
Okay, good. Well, but if for your date schedule, if you had 3 or 4 weeks before the sales page had to go live, you could at least sort of get the shell and then go back and kind of really refine it. it can be hard to get it done perfectly the way you want it that far in advance, but you know,
Well,
if you
but-
need to, you know,
But in
it's great.
setting up everything with Ontoport and getting all that going, we need something to work with, right? So
No, you-
might as
not
well be
really.
the real stuff for the
Yeah,
rest
I mean,
of
you
the-
don't need the sales page. Once you have Entreport up and connected to your free event and all that, it's really easy to connect it. You don't have to have it all perfectly connected. And if you have several weeks before you go live with your page, when you get back,
Yeah, but I don't, that's the thing, is I don't.
You don't.
So
It's really that close?
It's really that close, so
Wow.
it just needs to be ready.
Okay.
And why not?
Why
Because
not?
I've
All right.
got the designer, I
Yeah.
mean, everybody's ready right now, so
good,
let's,
good for
get
you.
ready.
Good for you. Yeah, no, that's totally fine. I'm just
But
trying to
just
give you
saying
some breathing
In the
room.
real world, as you start doing these classes, year after year, whatever,
Yeah.
season after season, that it's gonna be.
It's going to be more like
time.
this. Yeah, yeah. So, got it.
But also, at that point in time, our whatever is already designed, right?
That's true. Right. It's just
You know,
any
so
new
the big-
any new
the
course
big
launch.
tech upsurge
is all
right
done.
now for all of us, it's
Right,
done,
it's
and now
done.
we're just creating a new,
Exactly.
you know, we're flicking new boxes.
Exactly. And then the only other one I would
Gotta make new stuff.
say is up here is your there are some partner milestones here. So these are really fluid dates, but it says marketing partner tracking system setup. That basically is that set up in Entreport or Infusionsoft or Kajabi, just making sure you have the links and all that. So when you send them information and they say, hey, sign up here as a partner, that's all set. That's all set. And I won't go through all of these ones. These are all fairly obvious. It's all the prep that's happening for these main events here. Getting all the partners ready, getting your landing page ready and done, and then actually delivering your event and then your course start. So those are all the main ones. And then,
Wait,
yeah.
can I just, what's
Sure.
marketing plan complete mean?
That means that your dates, that you've actually put in dates, and that you're deciding, am I going to use online ads?
Okay.
All it is it takes you not too long to just say, what am I going to do? Am I going to pay for ads? Am I just going to do social media and marketing? And you just say that this is my plan for this launch.
How much
Does that make
before
sense?
the
How
event
much before the course?
window opens?
Yeah, that one isn't so important because this is literally, I would call it a good couple months beforehand. You know, it's when you're starting to finish your your messaging blueprint, you're working on your copy. I would say now you guys should be right now thinking, what's my marketing? I'm going to get partners. I'm going to do some social media. I'm not going to do Facebook ads for this round, for example. And then you're done. You just go over here and you just say, here's all the marketing. I'm going to do some social media blasts, and I'm not going to do this. I would just X that out or whatever. That's it. So it's not a hard item because I'm giving you basically the 80% of your energy is in the email marketing. So you almost can't say no to that part of the plan, but you can these other pieces.
So 8 weeks out, marketing plan's complete. You're starting to set up your affiliate setup.
Yep.
36 days. So 6 weeks out is when the free event landing page,
Right.
and the window opens the next day. And then 3 weeks out, the sales page is live.
And then you
and
deliver
the
your
free
actual
event's
webinar.
delivered. Oh yeah, and deliver.
Oh,
and
and
the
let me
course
add-
start date 3 weeks after.
I should put this on here just so people don't. It's in the marketing system, but then watch free. I'm going to put it here and make sure this stays for future free event encore, just to make sure and show them the date.
Is that
so
going to show up on our template?
No. It will. You can get access to this. I have this for all of you, or shared on this, but you'd have to go back and look for this.
And what do you
So a couple days after.
A couple days after, yeah. So example, if you do it on a Tuesday, a Thursday would be good. If you wind up doing it on a Wednesday or a Thursday, Saturday is good. I actually like Saturday, so I like doing it on a Wednesday if I can, or even a Thursday, because I like a week.
Yeah,
from the
so-
beginning?
For the webinar, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you schedule your webinar on like a Tuesday, it's pretty common to do Thursday as the encore. If you do it on Wednesday or Thursday, I'd suggest doing it on Saturday, because you don't want to do it on Friday. So Lion did his on Wednesday and Saturday, or Tuesday and Saturday? Wednesday and Saturday. And I think Saturday's awesome for people who just can't do it during the week. So I would do maybe a 5 p.m. webinar on Wednesday, so in the evening, so that works for everybody but Europe, even works for Australia, New Zealand. And then Saturday I would do an 11 a.m. Pacific or 10 a.m. Pacific. That now catches all the Europeans.
And when you
if
do
they need
Tuesday,
to.
Thursday, do Thursday in the morning?
Yeah, like a noon, 11 or noon or something like that. And it depends on your audience. I know I get a lot of entrepreneurs in my line of work, so I know that they they can figure out their schedule. If it's like working parents, like Don McManus, Parenting Your Strong-Willed Child, he absolutely wanted it on Saturday. So he had an evening one and then Saturday, but not a midday at 11 on a Tuesday or whatever, something like that.
So,
Yes.
working on the question here, where did it go?
How about dates of when to send the free event and the encore?
Oh, when you send out your free event thing,
Yeah.
you don't send the encore date. You only send it after.
Correct.
So they don't know that
They
there's
don't
gonna
know.
be one
Do they
on
ask?
Saturday.
My people ask.
People ask, and then yeah, or there be a recording, or is there going to be some kind of encore, and then you just answer all those questions, and then tell them honestly, yeah, there's going to be an encore. But you want people in the tension. I gotta, if this is the only one, I want to make it live. If you give that away, you give them an option, and then they don't make either. They kind of like up. So what's great then is you said we had an amazing event last night. Hundreds of people from around the world showed up. It was great. You don't want to miss it. We've decided to do a live encore. It's the next day, and that's hard. You know, I get it. People are like, with only 1 day notice or 2 day notice, they may not be able to make it. But you always, I mean, Lions still had 70 or 80 people out of 400 and some. I don't know what your total list was, but it was. So that's really great. I mean, that's great to get. You should get about 20% for your first encore. So if you have 400 people in that list that got built, you should be getting, hopefully, a good result is 80 people live for your first one. That's 20%, right? That's good. That's good. If it's lower than that, you're starting to be like something went wrong. You know.
20% that registered, or 20% that from the whole list?
No, from
Showed up for
the new bucket list, the opt-in list. 20% of to that list, not your whole list. You know. Anything.
Shows up live.
Shows
Yeah.
up live.
Even if then, if you're encore, if you can get another 10%, that's awesome.
You always require registration for the event?
Yeah, because you need to build.
Email.
Because the webinar is a list building activity in of itself. You guys get that, right?
Yeah.
You put as much energy into this, and even if they don't sign up for the course, who cares? You've now built your list by 500 more people.
Yeah.
So now Lion gets to do some other free thing to his big list just to keep them warm. And next time he launches, he's got 400 more people that might buy his course or program.
So the
next
new people
time.
go into your big list, but they also go to the opt-in list.
Yeah, they're tagged because they're tagged as an opt-in list. Yeah. So he can send to his whole list, or he can send to that tagged portion of the list going forward.
Infusionsoft is crazy complicated as everyone makes it out to be.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not
Your
the way
port
it works.
more user friendly.
More user friendly, but it's also
It's expensive.
no, well, they're about the same price. They're about the same price, but it's kind of catching up with some features with like visual campaign builder. But now they're having very similar features. You almost can't go wrong with either one. I think Ontraport's more intuitive and easier to work in, but a lot of people say once you know Infusionsoft, it's better, faster, it's easier. Ontraport has some kind of weird things to find stuff. You know, like why is it over there? You know.
Yeah.
But once you learn these programs and you're in it, people go, oh, yeah, obvious. But the first several weeks of learning it's
I
kind of
have
tight.
an Infusionsoft expert that helps me because I cannot find shit. I don't know how to do shit. It's like, it's so
Right.
complex.
Well, it's a part of the deal, isn't it? You get a
Get
person-
Assist,
Oh,
virtual assistant,
yeah.
virtual assistant, yeah. And like what Lion
You
said
actually
is,
do?
It's $3,000. It's expensive.
to get a virtual assistant?
No. Through Infusionsoft, isn't that part of the deal? Is they give you a trainer, a one-on-one trainer?
Oh, that I don't know, because I've
No.
had it for 10
Oh, okay.
years.
There's lots of variations of signing on. There's a jumpstart program, and you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay
I'm
that.
taking this as an article of faith, but the whole point of Infusionsoft and Ontaport is that they are software systems that manage all of this.
All of it, everything.
Automatic.
Your partners, your
It makes things
emails, automatic. When you get these all set up, if you want to set them automated next year, you just go back in, change the dates, and then set them, and you're done. You're done. Whew.
Yeah.
Like that's the gold standard. Is he goes to launch next time, he sets them all up in the campaign builder in Infusionsoft, sets the new dates. He could literally take a vacation for 2 weeks because they'll go out like clockwork. Boop, 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 boop. It never works that way though, because you want to shift the date. Oh, we need to put that in, and the course is different now. Let's move this to a Thursday. That always happens. The template's there.
Yeah.
But you could automate it if you want. And when you guys get to an evergreen product, you will just do that. Expect lower results, but you will have automated sequences that somebody comes into your free event, they get 4 emails that guide them toward the course, and that's all automated. Done. I don't even think about it.
We should do that anyway, shouldn't we?
Not well. Not with this, no. I mean, you can. I mean, just setting up those emails. But what I'm saying is automation is kind of a gold standard, but you're always winding up changing something or moving dates. That's what I'm saying. But okay. So anything else with milestones? That's the basics. So again, this is partners is sort of in front of all that, and the main one that I would highlight here is the media kit. So I would make this also important. And the media kit is truly, that's the marker for you that says you've got everything ready for your partners. So before that, it's all just communication, email, phone calls. Hey, would you help me? Will you support me? Oh, great. Yes, 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 yes. Then the main thing they're waiting for is the email copy and the sample Facebook posts and any banners. That's in this partner media kit. It's in you got a very detailed document in Launch Academy about what that is. So just make sure you use that and see what goes into that.
What's it called?
And
It's called the Marketing Partner Media Kit.
is that what we send to them before they sign up as an affiliate, or we already know they're affiliates and this is when I send all my affiliates?
This is this is when you pretty much have 90% of your yeses,
Okay.
and this goes out
To try to
about.
woo them. That's not.
No, this isn't the wooing. This is the committed partners
Got it.
already, but it's
And
important.
this is going out in a time-friendly way for doing it. So
Exactly.
now we're saying, okay, you agreed a month ago to do this, and now.
So
it's
here's the
coming up.
marketing window. I would probably say the absolute deadline, if the marketing window starts on the 24th, then the deadline would be like the 16th or the 17th. It's a good week before. So they have a week to get it, think about it, load that email up. But even if they got it a couple days before the 24th, most aren't going to mail right in the beginning of the window. So it's
So this
okay.
is why Shift Network always asks to know when you're planning on doing your campaign, so they make sure you have access to your kit
Yes.
in time. So like,
Yeah.
because I've said to them, I can do this, but I have to plan it ahead of time, so I can be gone in your window.
Exactly.
And so then I
And that's the challenge is that you're right. The earlier you can get this done, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people like you would say, look, I got to load this up and have it ready 3 weeks
Yeah.
or 4 weeks before this. But, it's hard because you've got to finish all that in a timely way. And it may not all be done yet.
Right.
And some
So-
partners, especially those with big lists, they plan months in advance. And so you ask, hey, would you like to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the thing is, as long as you have your days, this is why I'm saying your milestones is when you start wooing your partners 3 months, 6 months, 7 months out, all you need is a course title and the window and the date, and then they can say yes or no to supporting you. And that's all in the copy that I've given you. It's like, hey, here's
Was the affiliate setup system set up? I didn't see it here.
right here, marketing partner
Okay,
tracking
so
system set up.
8-2, okay. Got it.
It should be, frankly,
Figure out
these
this.
dates are random. Like
Yeah.
this actually needs to be set up the moment you're even talking to, even if it's 9 months out.
Yeah.
So when you guys get in Kajabi, you already have yours, right? So you
Yeah,
just
I
have
used
to
it.
set the
I
link
used it.
up.
Okay.
So, but again, if you're in the starting to talk to the partners, let's call it 2 months out. You just need to make sure that that's ready 2 months out. And James, even if you want to talk 6 months out or 8 months out, you don't have to have it ready. You just need a yes in an email. That's all. Because then later you can say, hey, I'll send you a link later to sign up as a partner. And then, yeah,
So I have a technical question.
and then Aaron, yeah.
When you're tagging affiliates,
Yeah.
do you need to tag them by event, or can you just tag, just like you're an affiliate, so just use your affiliate?
No, just an affiliate. If it only would be if you had very distinct business lines, Lion, and you
Like
wanted to
Shift
separate.
has-
Yep.
Shift has a separate,
For you, it's all under Lion Goodman.
Yeah.
Anything you do, and then when you do that, remember they have different links for different products that get in there.
so it goes to a different sales page, but they're just one.
Right, and then when they go into their center, they'll see all the programs that you have to offer, and they need to know to navigate to that program, and then all the links are there for that program. Yeah.
Can we go back here for a second? I
Yep.
just couldn't see the-
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's going to show you something with Jeff Affleck in a quick. Okay, great. So what did you need to
This
see?
one's- I'm
And
just trying to
Aaron?
figure out, so marketing plan is like T minus 56. Okay. And free event landing page is T minus 36. Where's the partner media
30.
kit and affiliate system? That's what I'm trying to hit
Right
at.
here. That's a good week before this
A week
stuff. At the
before
latest.
landing page.
At
So
the
affiliate
latest.
system
It
set
could be
up, or
earlier,
the
yeah.
partner media kit. Partner media kit is a week before. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm
So-
sorry. Yeah, Aaron. Yeah.
So I have two questions.
Yes.
One is, what does this have to do with me and my launch, like specifically?
You and your launch.
Yeah, like
it's
I don't know. I don't have, and probably won't have the the CRM that's gonna actually be set up for that.
Yeah.
I don't think, I might, but I doubt it.
Well, you have something now. Do you have MailChimp or something?
MailChimp, yeah,
Well, then
but
you
I'm
just have
saying-
to use MailChimp.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
so I don't have all of this, for marketing partners, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Because MailChimp is so not set up for that.
I understand, yeah.
So I don't even know how to even begin a conversation knowing that I don't have this set up.
Well, you can get partners that, especially for your pilot, that just love you and know you, and they don't care to get commissions, and you don't even track it. It's bad not to track it, because even if you don't pay commissions, you'd love to know how they did.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you're going to house your course and your product. I don't know where your finances are, but like he's on Kajabi,
Right.
and Kajabi has a little component of affiliate partner stuff. It's terrible, but it works.
I have a suggestion, because
Yeah.
I did this before I had Infusionsoft.
Mhm.
I had people who were gonna mail for me, and I actually duplicated the page,
Oh, geez, don't.
in,
Jeez.
in Word, in
Yeah.
WordPress, and then gave them, added a title that meant them. And so that way, if they would send people to one landing page, and other people would send it to another
So you
landing
had
page.
several landing pages.
Like 20 of them if you had 20
duplicated
partners,
I didn't
yeah.
have that many partners at
Okay.
the time, I had 2 or 3.
Right.
So that way I could see where they landed, and, because they were tagged differently.
Mhm.
So in other words, I could go in and see who came from where.
So that's
You can
okay.
also-
Better solution. I think better solution is trust, because remember, we want all you to execute on this. Do a pilot, and don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just ask your partners. Tell them, I'm doing this as a pilot, Sage. Charlotte, could you blast for me? I'm just doing it as a pilot.
I don't even know if I can get these guys, because they're
They're at that
they're
level. I
friends,
get
but
it.
they're but
I
they're
understand.
business, like,
I understand. You got to
That's
ask.
the point.
You
Yeah.
got to ask. You
Yeah.
got to ask. All of
And-
you have to ask your
okay,
partners. Yeah.
And the second thing is like, so a given affiliate, like,
Can I just finish the thought though? Is
Yeah.
that you could get, you have to house your course somewhere in some form or fashion. If you got Basic Kajabi, actually Basic Kajabi doesn't have the affiliate partner thing. Scratch that. There is a couple other programs that are very inexpensive that you could use for that tracking, that are like open source stuff. So I wouldn't let go of that even for your pilot, to at least have something where you're tracking partners. But if you don't want to do any of that, then just do it without saying I'm not tracking. And I just would love your support. But when I launch again, I'd love to be able to pay commissions out and blah, blah, blah.
I have one more idea, and that is, if you're using Maestro, let's say you have 3 partners that mail for you, on the call, with the people that show up, you could say, press 1 if you came from Julie, press 2 if you came from Bob, and press 3, and you can actually see where the people came from. So that's just sort of an afterword for those people that show up.
Yeah.
But it's at least a backup.
Anyway,
Yeah.
final question. Sorry, can we just?
I have another
Yeah, we got to
question.
move
That was
on.
about that.
Yeah.
Was just,
Because
this is just really easy. Just
can I actually? Because actually, it's 10:40,
Mm-hmm.
and we have.
Okay.
He's coming in 5 minutes,
Okay.
and he's going on at 11.
Mhm.
But so can I move through? I know there's more questions, but I want to get through some of these other ones. So
Yeah.
just hold that. Some of these are going to be easier because I'm not going to. So this I know might look overwhelming, but I highly encourage you to just get familiar with this master action checklist. This is part of the brilliance of what Eric and I last year put together. It took us hours and hours. This should be basically every step that you need to do. You,
I'm
You
not
don't-
seeing it on mine.
It's not on this,
I'm on.
ours.
I'm
it's
seeing
not
the one
on.
that you gave us.
Mine goes from milestones to
I don't-
action items to marketing partners,
Yeah.
tab-wise.
Marketing
master
plan,
action check. Which
metric stats.
Master check.
are you guys?
Master
Oh, I wonder.
action
Is this the
checklist.
downloaded version?
Yeah.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! I bet I didn't. I was asking you all to go off this one. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay. I really would prefer you guys to
Okay.
use the Google Doc one, and you're right. I don't think I added that to the download version from the
I did not.
website.
Launch
Okay,
Maestro.
my bad. My
Okay,
bad.
that's
So
all
what
right.
do we do about that?
Launch master
I am
checklist.
going to give you all the link here to.
What are you guys missing? You
This
missing
entire
version
tab.
of the,
launch master checklist? I have that. So does that mean I have the correct?
Yeah, you have the correct one. I think because you did it as a Google Doc, right? Yeah, all of them I think downloaded the Excel spreadsheet, and I didn't update that. My bad. All right, my bad. So what we're gonna do now is just, I think I have you guys all here. I'll send it out to everybody. I'm just gonna do this really quickly. And then this is Lion, Goodman, and Christina.
Okay. Okay.
Christina.
Yeah.
Last Mass Center, James, Mayfield Smith, and April.
Okay, so
Right.
all those
Make things
changes
as
you were just
simple as
making
you
are the
can.
on this that you're sending to us right now.
Yeah, well, this has
Yeah,
always
I
been
just
here.
want- I just
It's
want,
always
like,
been here for
not-
people to use, which I encouraged,
I want-
but
Right.
a lot of you downloaded the Excel
No, I mean,
spreadsheet.
you made some changes right now
Yes.
this morning and they're.
Yes,
not-
exactly, exactly. So master
Cause I was following
dashboard.
behind and making them, but.
Ah, right, Google Doc, but they'll be in here, yeah. Here is the Google Doc for dashboard, and this will have the latest. So that's the link. Okay, great. So that is going off to all of you, and I will change that.
And close it. Okay.
And so let me just make sure, I'm just going to make sure anybody that has the link, anybody with link can edit. Okay. So this is why I was saying is please, guys, and especially for some of you here that aren't, that's why I wrote this. When you get it, you need to, the very first thing you do is to make a copy and make it name it your own. Okay. Otherwise, this is live. That's what we wrote to you. This is live. So you start making changes in here, and everybody that has this thing, this is the template. So just make sure that you first copy it and rename it, and then it won't be a problem. So the way I'll show you how to do it again is you make it, not move to. You do this, you go right to the file menu, not your file menu up here, it's got to be the file menu in Google Docs. It can be kind of confusing. Then you make a copy, and then that's where you rename it. So I would just Aaron's master dashboard, and then you can decide where you want to save it. So in what you might want to do is make sure you don't save it in here, because it may be hard for you to remember, oh, where is it? So you just keep going back, and it would show you the folders, and you can come back to My Drive, on your own drive, and then just make sure you get all the way back to your drive, and then do select like this, and then now you hit OK, and it'll save it on your drive.
Okay, well, I got it.
Great.
Milestones, so we're at
So we're gonna get this in an email.
Yep, it should be there. April just sees it now.
master action checklist, is that what we're?
Yep. And so that, oh, you're good. See, look at, we've got these anonymous duck, anonymous narwhal. Who's the narwhal?
I hope I am.
I know I like narwhals. All right, so I'm not going to go through this. This one is literally overwhelming. But it is, you'll see we have 134 items all the way through even the wrap up of the course. So it's actually showing you the delivery, literally.
So it's every action step that needs to be taken from all the different areas of action.
Exactly,
Okay.
that's right. I mean, like, and we even put it into a phase, like the foundation phase, then the build out,
Okay.
and then we gave it a type, technology, or, and on the key is over here, copywriting, marketing, technology, affiliate, design.
So this would be, so you don't have anything under due dates here, but this would be a great place where T-minus 56 would be
Right.
really helpful.
Yeah, and the best place is for your program manager or your program assistant to dive them into this, get them related to it so they can also manage it with you and for you and drive some of the actions. So that's that.
Are these in fair sequence here?
They are in exact sequence without due dates, yes.
Okay.
That was actually what took a long time, is really thinking what kind of needs to be done before. A lot of them happened kind of in parallel, but we tried to organize them top to bottom of what needs to happen in order. Yeah.
Yeah, this is,
This was just for you guys to create your own list to, like, you could use this as the main thing and go through. You can say, well, let's capture some of our own random little actions, and you can, that's just open. Marketing partners, you've seen this. I think many of you have already put some people in here. Let me show you kind of what a real one looks like. So this is Don. So here is all Don's. He even added, just do whatever you want. He added like the lead temperature. Are they cold leads? Are they warm leads or hot leads? Agreed to participate. He moved that up. So, you know, you can customize this by moving stuff around however you want. But then he's tracking all this. Yes, no's, there's some maybes.
Doesn't have list size there.
He didn't really ask people that. I mean, he was a little embarrassed to ask that, but you have to ask if you don't know. I think list size is, no, he did some in here. See, list size, email list size, yeah. So
Chris, you got Ashley, pretty much you trained her in your process, right?
yeah,
Where
pretty
do
much.
you go to find somebody who like already knows this stuff? And like, if I were to hire a person, and then they're like, and then they just look at it as, okay, yeah, and then they can like jump in and actually help me do stuff.
Yeah.
Where do you find people like this? Surely there's like got to be a huge market. for that.
It's
That's-
not.
You
It's
can-
not
go
easy.
to-
You can find
go
them.
to Like the Odesk and the Upwork. and
But I
all
know
that
what he's
stuff.
asking.
But
I know what he's
they're not
asking.
gonna- yeah.
They don't know this
They don't know
particular
this stuff,
model.
yeah.
You interview, some people do.
Really?
They've been, they've been on the.
So Elance, you can go to the Philip. So Carve, you can have a conversation with Carve,
And
but
then
they're
just online marketing. It's just
Get really specific
Yeah.
about what you're,
Specific, like,
yeah.
product launch formula,
yeah
expertise.
expertise,
So,
yeah, and do those searches,
Okay.
and you'll find some people. But the challenge is, good people are usually already in some organization or they're
That's what I was
filled up.
wondering.
It's hard to find the one that has their own business of doing that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm encouraging Ashley to learn, but she's also just learning it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's not. It's not grokked in
That'd
her
be
brain.
so valuable if we get someone like you, but they actually sat down and helped me.
Right.
You know, like
With every
to
item-
actually
with
do
every
it all.
item,
They just
yeah.
did it, yeah,
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
know, they intuitively know what to do, and I have to, like,
Yeah.
I wondered if you were
You
gonna
could help
talk
manage
about that at all.
Yeah, the other way to hold it is that you're like an executive, a CEO, and you understand this enough that you can direct your employee to do the work. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm hopefully out of Launch Academy, you are that expert. You just don't want to do the work.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Exactly.
So trying to find that perfect person that knows it all and perfect that's a unicorn.
Yeah.
So you need to know it,
Unicorns.
and then hopefully you'll find somebody that's adept enough at it. But then you got to get them related to your particular model, because a lot of them will come in and they'll know, oh, but why isn't the cart opens and then it closes 5 days later, James? What's wrong? And you're like, well, that's not how I'm doing this campaign. So you still have to educate them of what your campaign is, or else they'll.
By the way, my person's $60 an hour, just so, and I could use a lot of hours, and I paid her probably $4,000 for my launch.
Yeah.
Because she was doing so much.
And that's Sharon or
Shannon,
Shannon, yeah.
And so she does the model.
She knows a lot about the model. She doesn't know the specific
Yeah.
model, but she knows Infusionsoft. She knows WordPress, so she can set up a landing page.
What's your last name?
I'm not going to give her.
Oh, okay.
She's too busy. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I got it. Okay.
I'm not giving
Okay.
her away.
Okay. Thanks.
She's already too busy.
I understand.
Yeah.
But let's kind of keep moving here. So the marketing partners, you got, so action items blank, you can use that however you want. I think you guys all get this. You can move stuff around in here, and you can
Okay, but
add
if you have
columns.
the
And,
master checklist for action items, you don't really need the other action items anymore, right?
correct.
Because if you had some special thing like get the videos done, you would
Unless
just
you're
add
like
it to your
me,
master list.
unless you're like me, who's not actually doing all of those.
Yeah.
Then you would just jump over
Then I
She
there.
would
just pull
say,
some over
I
and
just want this, I just want
Yeah.
this.
You'd create
what is in
For
Violet?
me.
What is in Violet is having your milestones set,
Right.
and then use the milestones to move over to your action items, however she wants to build them, or just go down and just you could even begin to go.
Check,
That's
check,
done,
yeah.
done, and then
You could
just go.
highlight, or I could highlight the ones that I wanted.
Exactly, and then have an assistant move them over. Right, that's where you get support. So you guys are not doing that. Marketing plan. Now here is when I say the tabs. I'm going to remind you, like instead of oh my God, all these tabs, milestones. Some version of the check, either this one or your own, marketing partners and the marketing plan. That's it. That's where I live. That's where I live. The milestones. That's where I live. Once I'm done with this, I'm done and I get it, and then all my partners know. So I live in this a lot. Come back. I live in some version of this, either my own list or coming back to this.
What's in the two? I don't understand.
Well, that's what we're saying is, were you catching that? This is everything. You could just
Yeah.
use this and don't even worry about
Right,
this.
yeah.
But she's saying, God, I don't even want, let me just move over 30 items
Okay.
and then just use that for your own action list of how you want to go about it.
Okay.
This is your own open space.
Okay. Got it.
But I'm in here a lot, all the time.
Got it.
So like Don, remember, look, he's got to check, he's got to look at all these and where was I and what did I do and all that. Okay, so this is your tracking. This is the true tracking. Marketing plan, this is when you get closer. Now I'm in here to make sure that all my dates are right as I think about each email blast, okay? This is part of kind of finishing off your marketing plan is with enough advance notice, you start saying, working backwards, right? Look at here is my 5-minute start. I just plug in the day I know that's my webinar date, and then you can work backwards, you know? You see what 24 hours before and these. So then you start putting all your dates in that complete your program. And I'm in here a lot then too. How are we doing? Oh shit, we need to move this date now to another date because we missed it or something happened. And then the audience list here particularly is when I say main or partner or opt-in, the main list is your main list, your big list, whatever that is now. The partner list are your partners, of course, their lists. And then the opt-in list is the new list that's being built for this campaign. right? That's tagged in a certain way in your system. Even in MailChimp, you create a new campaign that is that list, okay? And then you have a mix. Like you might send a few of these to your main list occasionally. Like here, you might see there's a main list, main and opt-in main. The opt-in list gets everything basically because you've earned the right to mail to them. They signed up, they were interested in your webinar. 3 weeks, a campaign, and then you're done. Then you're not mailing them so often after that.
You gotta be sure to not double mail because they're both in your main and they're in the opt-in.
Yeah, I was
Right.
wondering about that.
Mail
Yeah.
should handle
You
that.
have to segment it out, which means when you send to your main, you segment out the opt-in list so that it's just going to the main separate from the opt-in list. And that gets done inside. It's not so easy to do in MailChimp. That's part of the problem. You have to be kind of careful with that.
Constant Contact does that automatically.
Yeah, it does it. It should do. When you select the two different, it even gives you an exclude. GetResponse tells me what I can exclude, and I think yours does that too. I think MailChimp doesn't do a very good job of that.
Well, if it's main and opt-in, you could just do main. You don't have to send it to opt-in.
No. Opt-in needs all of these. They need and
Yeah, but if you send it to the main, opt-in's going to get it.
not necessarily.
Because
No.
opt-in is new.
I thought
They may
main
not
was
be.
everything.
Well, no. Yeah, if you wanted to, you're right. If you send it to main, you could send it to everybody. The difference is the voice has to be different.
Oh, you changed the.
You have to change a little bit. The
main.
main list is if you're here is like, hey, if you missed the opportunity, I love you, sign up.
Okay.
The other one is, hey, you were signed up for the webinar. Here's some tips for you to blah blah blah. So you've got to have them as slightly different versions, right? So that's a good question. That should be somewhere on here. When I say main, you have to think about a different version that makes sense for that main list.
Yeah.
It's basically the same email. It's just the first few lines or
If
paragraphs
they're
are
in the middle of a
changed.
conversation, they don't know.
Exactly, right. So there's that, and that is a great point that James just brought up. When you're in this campaign and thinking about this opt-in list, those 400 people, Lion wants to think about, and each of you need to think about, I'm in a conversation with these people. I'm in a conversation. That means each email, I have to be thoughtful. That email before, this next one should maybe reference that or have some way that it feels like I'm having a conversation with them rather than these static emails.
Yeah, I'll just
So-
send you another email from my automatic.
Yeah, so like even my
Generated
content,
list.
when I go to the content emails, content email 1, 2, and 3, my first content email says, I'm really excited to share with you the first of 3 purpose blocks, and I can't wait to share this purpose. And then the next email is, remember when I was telling you about the first purpose block, it was called this, here's the second purpose block. So be in a conversation, even when you have the early registration ends, is I hope you enjoyed my last on the first purpose block. And if you had a video, you might even see a little link, hey, if you missed the video, click here. Oh, by the way, early registration is ending. See, everything's, it's a flow rather than
But it's
these
still
eyes.
standalone too.
Exactly,
Yes,
exactly.
yeah.
It's still
Yeah, I've seen
standalone, but it's a flow.
Yeah.
All right, so there's that. And then the ones that you may not be using much is marketing statistics, metrics and statistics. I love this, it's great. I don't know if you use this, Lion. Did you have some tracking for this? And here is our man. Hello, Jonathan, come in, come in. Jonathan, meet the team. And we're just kind of wrapping up, so if you want to chill out over there or use the bathroom, do you need to use the restroom?
Yeah.
You can head upstairs and then we'll officially introduce you.
Great.
Great. Yeah. All right, so metrics and statistics. So, you know, if you want to use it, great. If you don't, that's fine, but it always is helpful to see how many opt-ins you got in. If you use Google Analytics, then you can see how many people came to your page. You can look at what conversion rate, all that stuff. I won't get into that right now because it's a little complicated to talk about these different numbers. The number one thing that I think is helpful to know of how things are going, though, is you have a webinar registration page, and you have people going to that page. Of all the total people actually getting to the page, how many people sign up? Does that make sense? And then there's a percentage. So if you have 1,000 people who've landed on the page and 500 signed up, that is 50% conversion rate, correct? For webinars, to make sure your offer is good and that your titling and everything feels good, you should be at about 50% or higher because it's a free event, okay? If it's way lower than that, then something is wrong. You need to see.
To get to the webinar should be 50%.
To sign up for it.
Why sign up to sign
For
up
the
for it?
webinar.
Yeah, for the
The free
webinar.
webinar.
It's free webinar. Yeah, so you can see how many signups that are in your program. So if it's 50 signups and 100 people went to the page, okay, good. I'm at that 50%, right?
And you get that from Google Analytics.
You get that from Google Analytics. You can also get it sort of from clicks. Does that make sense? So when you're in your marketing for all your partners, it shows you how many clicks. That's from the email. When somebody clicks, you basically assume most of those people are going to the page, but it's not perfect. Google Analytics is better. It shows you how many people actually landed on the page during that window. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's more accurate, but the clicks are pretty accurate. Okay.
But what's an expected rate to actually pay for the course?
The pay, yeah, so that's the first level, and that's most important, is that I've got 50% or more people signing in, great, my offer is pretty good for the webinar. Now for the course, if you've got this list of 1,000 people that signed up for the webinar, you want to convert, ideally, anywhere from 5 to 10% is great. Below 5%, it starts to be a little bit like, again, the offer's off, or I didn't do a good job in the webinar. So if I had 1,000 people that signed up for the webinar, ideally you'd like to have 50 to 100 people in your course. Okay, and that should bear out. If your offer is good enough for first launches and pilot launches, it might be 2% or 3%, but that's you getting it all. Maybe the campaign was kind of wonky, or you didn't get all your emails out. So just know that the first time can be a little rocky in terms of the numbers until you get to that. And even Evolving Wisdom or whatever, 5 to 7% is great. It's just their numbers are huge. Does that make sense? They have 20,000 people that signed up for the webinar, so that 5% could translate into 1,000 people, or you know.
So what are the conversion rates actually? So 50% from mailing to webinar sign up.
No, landing on the page, coming to the page and actually signing up. Because some people come to the page and they don't sign up. So the main conversion is if they go to the page and they look at your headline, they look at the page and they don't register, there's a challenge. Like if they're not interested for some reason.
Okay. So
And that's 50, and that's 50% or over is good.
and then showing up live for the webinar.
Yeah, showing up live for the webinar, that's 20%, I think is a pretty good standard, and it's
20%
dropping.
of the 50%.
No. That's the whole, don't worry about the 50%, is that you're gonna have like 1,000 people registered for your webinar.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the conversion. If 1,000 people registered, then 250, if 200 showed up live, then that is 20% of that total list.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's of the 50% that signed up for the webinar.
Yeah. From who landed on the page, right.
Right.
It's exactly. Let's say 2,000 people landed on the page, 50% signed up. That 1,000 is your list, and then you should have 20% of that 1,000 showing up live.
And then
Yeah.
the encore is another
10% maybe. So maybe another 100, yeah.
Okay.
And that could be less, depending on the day, all that stuff, you know.
And then people of that, so you've got roughly 300 people
Right.
Yeah,
in our example.
yeah. Three,
And
or no, it'd be 200 of the
No,
1,000.
You said 200 to the first webinar, and then.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
300. So
Right,
you've got
right, yeah,
300 people
right.
who've seen the webinar.
Yeah, or listen
And
to
then
it,
you
yeah.
might get a couple other trickle ones from the recording,
Yep,
but generally
Yeah.
speaking, so like 300 people.
yes.
Okay, then what's the conversion rate for signing up?
That's tricky because I'm still most concerned about the conversion rate of the total list. So it's all over the map of who shows up live. So I want to say that when we talk about conversion from that list of 1,000, that 5% is from that 1,000, whether they listen to the webinar or not, because they're getting marketed to over time. But let me try to answer your question on that. Is those that show up for the webinar, what have I learned from both Evolving Wisdom and Shift Network? I would say that that's higher. Obviously, it's higher. I don't know what standard is. Maybe call that 10 to 15% purchase. Does that make sense?
Well,
Yeah, see, that's still, because a lot of people will listen to it, still be interested, but not until the third or fourth email do they buy. So here's the deal is if you had 300 people show up live, if you got 10 people to purchase within the first few days of those webinars out of 300, that's good. So I guess that's 3%.
Shift keeps really careful track of this, and they can predict. They can say
Yeah.
if this many people are in the bucket, and this many people show up, and this many people, they can predict all the way through the spreadsheet to know how many people are gonna sign up for the second course.
Right. Yeah.
The upsell course.
And they have a lot of data points. You know, they have a lot of data points. So when you get more data points, and what I'm saying is that if you're a real deal teacher and the offer looks good and you've already run your pilot, I can also predict that if you have a bucket list of 1,000, you should be getting 5 to 7% signing up for your course. And same thing. And then the Shift Network just has so many data points now with so many courses and so many running of those courses. They just know what their stats are, and they actually know what their bench line is. So if they hit bench line, their benchmark, fine. If they're a little bit over that, they're like woohoo, and then they're really worried when they drop from their own benchmarks. So they don't even have to go out to the marketplace to figure that out. It's their own internal benchmarks. Yeah.
So they can do Facebook ads and they'll know how much it's going to cost just because they have the stats.
Yeah, well, and then they have to do testing on those campaigns to make sure that from that source, they're actually converting enough and making money on it. For every $1 they put in, they're getting $1.50 back or $1.25 back. So that's a separate kind of stat. But this is helpful. Those two things, I just really want to say two things, is your conversion of your page and the conversion into your course is all that you, for now, really need to track. There's a lot of other ways to slice and dice it from open rates and your emails. So do you see these email campaigns? That's helpful to just see how many opens and how many clicks, and you can do a lot of stats around that. But that's when you get really wonky, or you have an assistant do it, or somebody track it. Usually when you get into campaign and assistants know this, you just ask them to go and find those stats and do it. Don't do it yourself. Go to Google Analytics, check out the clicks inside our platform, and then stick them in there and the conversions will happen. Then these next ones are also just sort of nice to have, these potential participants. This is, remember, for small courses where you might be having specific conversations. High ticket items where 15 people max, just like Launch Academy. This is where you want to track who is in the pipeline I've had conversations with or whatever. And then this is more of a sales kind of tracking for small programs.
In lieu of
For
a
a small-
CRM.
Yeah, more like, and you could do this in a CRM, but I just wanted to put it in here so you guys had, I just wanted to see if Don had, I don't think he put, no, he doesn't have anything in there. And I'll show you, I mean, here's Launch Academy, here you guys are. I want to show you too much, but there you go.
Yeah,
That's Launch Academies.
all our secrets.
All your secrets, right? So you just track, you've got phone numbers, you've got contact info, because you want to be able to, just right from here. Oh, sorry, no, I'm in not marketing partners. We are in potential partners. So you have, phone, like all the contact info, brand focus, lead source, first contact, status, any notes, right? So you're tracking them. Materials and pages, so I like to do this. This is like actually putting in your various pages so it's easy to find. I mean, it starts to get wonky. I got a web page, I got a thank you page, I got my sales page, I got another thank you page, I got all this stuff. So I start tracking all of these. And then any partners, again, this is a lot for your virtual assistants and your program managers, as much for you. This is your thing. When you hire that person, here's our dashboard. We're going to spend 80% of our time in the dashboard. And when you've got them all in there, you just tell them, go to this page, go check that out, instead of, where's that URL again?
Yeah.
Where's that? And then bonuses, this is sort of on the, this was on the general tab, but this is where you can have the contact of who that bonus person is and the email. Did I get the description bonus from them? Whatever, So this is where more of the tracking of your bonus package. And then the budget, which I think is also helpful to come in here and see, okay, let's do some budgeting. Can I get, 100 people in my program? Great. Credit card fees are always 3%. Partner commissions, I usually think that generally not more than 30% of what 30 to 40%. It's not like everybody. Some people think, if I have partners mailing for me, I'm going to pay commissions on every student. It's just not how it bears out. It's just weird. Even though your list might be small, people tell friends, they pass it on, the link doesn't get there. So you would have some expense to that, and then you'd have your net revenue and then all your expenses. I like to think of expenses as up to launch, because really you have these sunk costs and then you're making some of your money back. So this is not like ongoing expenses. So, hey, Jonathan.
I think you're low on the numbers you put in here are low for coordinator virtual assistant web designer.
Yeah, I get, Lion, I know. I mean, it's hard to gauge on this. It's like, because you can go budget, like if this is just hiring somebody for 3 months prior for a certain number of hours, yeah, and I know you've spent a lot more as somebody at $60 an hour versus $20 an hour. So I'm kind of thinking if you find a virtual assistant on Upwork or something like that, $25 an hour. Ashley's 35, 35, so half of what you pay for Shannon. But you also pay for what you get too, that kind of thing. Shannon knows she knows and she's on it, and
Well,
so
if you're
her.
really smart about it, you can pay less for a virtual assistant for some of the tasks.
Yes.
And get them to integrate well with the.
Exactly, with
$60
the
rate.
Ash, yeah, exactly. And then web designer, so you're right, Lion, I mean, the two ones that could totally blow out is program coordinator, what you're paying. Web designer, I do think for a package for your website, I mean your webinar landing page and your sales page, you absolutely can, you should get somebody that's decent enough to do both of those for $1,500. Like I know that for sure. Even this
Tell me what you think should that include.
designer, designing the page and being a coder enough, so you want to check on this so they can at least connect it to Entreport a little bit, so they're not just a pure designer like, oh, you got to get somebody else to code this page into WordPress. I like having somebody that works in WordPress, is a good designer, sets it all up, and could even connect the pieces of the page, the buttons and the form and all that, which is super easy. It's just they need to do it and be willing to do it. So I think that's pretty solid. You might have paid more for that, Lion. I don't know, for designer stuff. But you guys can be hard negotiators. There's so many hungry designers out there, both in the US and abroad. You should easily be able to get that price or lower. And then I put just coding because there is some connectivity. You might have to pay a little bit to get somebody a little more expert to make sure Entreport and the WordPress site is connecting. But generally your designer / coder can handle that. All right?
Did you have,
And
did your web designer help you with branding, or did you do that yourself?
I did that myself. I actually got my designer to help with my logo. That's it, but wasn't a full branding exploration. So he just did my site, and also here's some ideas for a logo. It was great.
Chris, I'm unclear where Entreport's assistance and needing an actual coder, where that line is.
Entreport is this
Like-
program coordinator.
Like, as I'm trying to find out who do I need to help, I know I need a designer, but can I just have a designer interface with Entreport, or do I need a coder in there? I'm just trying to understand how many people I really need.
You really just need I would say find a designer that knows how to work in WordPress and when I say coder, they just know how to pull things in to make it work, like the form on the page. You basically need a good designer that works in WordPress.
Yeah, well, I
And
mean,
then-
I have a designer.
and that's
who's
it,
been doing
yeah.
my websites. I just want to know, is there now, do I need a person in between that person and Entreport, or is he going to be able to work?
No, Entreport customer service could help you and that person. And
All right.
You don't need that person. Yeah. Okay. Any questions about the dashboard? I know we're going to have a little bit of time in the early afternoon before we get into the whole thing to have you guys put in some dates and do a little work. I do want us on a break and then introduce Jonathan. So, but any final questions on this,
I just
James?
want to say, I think that this hinges, my success is going to hinge on this, because this is
Yeah.
that overwhelm.
Yeah,
And I think having it all in place, I think that's going to go help us with that.
you're right. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Great.
I think even when writing a book, 3 years later, there's so much that has gone on, and the organization of that whole process is so important. And when you start, you don't realize what is needed. And when I think of this and see this, it's like, oh my God, this is
Yeah.
what will really keep me on total
Every
track.
project's
so
going to be
container.
faster
Yeah.
now.
I know exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
it's not like everything's all over, and you're trying to figure out how to organize it. It's
That's
really
that's
great.
right. Exactly.
And
So
one
you're
of
going to make one for writing a book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there
Yeah,
you
why
go.
not? Yeah.
One of the
Sell it out.
reasons,
Yeah.
one of the reasons I was successful is because I always used to do it the way you just described. Oh yeah, I need to have this thing, and I should go do that. Oh my God, I also need this thing, and I should go do that. And I was basically chasing my tail through all these processes.
Mhm.
And, I really contribute my success to at least having a vision. I didn't
Yeah.
use this document, but it sure kept me on track.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Well, thank you all.
Mhm.
Awesome. So let's take a break. We're gonna take our let's take a 15-minute break. I know we've got plenty of time on the back end too. So let's. But if you can be back in 10, that's great. And then we'll introduce Jonathan and get rolling.
Can you help me just a few minutes, just do this?
Yeah, let me use the restroom, and I'll help you, and then we're going to give
I just
an
want to
official
say
hug.
this
And
in my Google Doc.
thank you for coming. I know you've gone through a lot.
Google Doc.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Yeah. I told them you were evacuated too, and they're like,
Knocking that off the table.
Yeah, I really don't.
okay, I'll come right back down. I gotta just use the restroom.